Welcome to the Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. What is a hot take, you may ask? Well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, we give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today is going to be a game, and that game is Marvel's Spider-Man. As always, to join me, Chris Trio, and guests Ian Fitzgerald, Matt Penza, Casey Wellman, returning for our biggest cast yet. Thank you guys for coming.
Guys. Thank you.
This is exciting.
This is the biggest one, so
Yeah, cool.
It's fun. But we'll hop right into it, Gooch, right?
I think we all liked it, right? We all fucking love this game.
No, it was great.
Debatable.
I fucking love this game. This game starts off super strong. We're just going to go through the beginning part because we feel like it's very necessary.
So that first moment when you fucking swing out that window, how big was the grin on your fucking face?
Oh, it's amazing.
I was just like,
what are we going to talk about?
I was just like, oh my god, they fucking did it. In the first minute of the game.
They set up the tone so perfectly, like just him getting ready, the music's playing, he's using his web shooters to do everything, and then the fucking past due rent thing slips under the door, and then he just looks at his phone.
Fuck it, I'm
looks at the past due and is like, alright, and then just jumps out. And I love how it just puts you right into it. It's just like, alright, right
so
here to
did it
swing.
take you guys like a few, maybe like a day of play or like a few hours to kind of get the swinging and even the combat, like kind of the gist of it?
100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought it felt really awkward at first.
Yeah,
I agree.
I was like, I couldn't and then it gets like really rhythmic, like
totally.
And exactly how Arkham felt, but Arkham is really hard to master, and this wasn't. I felt like I picked it up
movement wise or for like
combos, swinging.
It's funny. I actually found it. We'll get into the more nitty gritty of it. I found the combat, when you said that, tougher at first, but now that I've beat the game, I actually find it easier, which is interesting. But
I'm now so good at fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get
Sir,
hit. That's the thing. It's like Arkham, where you get so good that you're just in this rhythm and you don't even get hit by anyone.
I like that dodging, unlike Arkham, doesn't reset your combo. Like, if you dodge and nobody was swinging at you in Arkham, you played them, right?
I haven't.
Oh,
You've never played Arkham?
No, I haven't.
They're great.
In the Batman games, while you're in mid-combo, if you dodge and nobody was swinging at you, it resets your combo because you just basically, it was an unnecessary move. Yeah, but in this, like, you can just, like, you're Spider-Man. Like, that's the point. You're just, like, rolling around, backflips, all that stuff.
Just his, like...
Very forgiving.
Yeah, and it's, like, just his whole overall movement style and everything's awesome.
And depending on the type of enemies you're facing, you're like, I'm just beating up some criminal, dude.
Yeah.
Like, or like, while later in the game you're facing guys who like can give you, a fight. You're like, I feel like I'm just beating up some dude who just tried to rob a bank, and it's awesome because I'm way higher level than him,
And I think I played like 75% of the game without really using any of my gadgets.
Oh,
no,
I
dude,
use
it's
them
funny.
all
Like,
the
I got
time.
like 25 or 30%, maybe not as much, but I was like, I haven't been touching half of this
I
stuff.
use
What have I
all
been
my
doing?
gadgets,
And then
all of them.
Then I started using them, and I'm like, oh my god.
It
what
makes
am I
combat
doing?
so much
Yeah.
more interesting.
Yeah, more unique.
Like throwing the web bomb and then like getting guys who are like all up in the web and then shooting like the concussion thing that makes them go flying
And then they're
up
stuck
against
to
the
the
wall.
wall.
And it's
Yeah.
like 5 guys out of the way.
I don't
right
think
there.
I've used a single concussion grenade.
No?
Oh, really?
I was trying to think, like, I think I've touched everything, like,
I agree.
suspension matrix, all that.
I didn't either.
I
haven't
never
either.
used a concussion thing.
I found that like I use them more when going into like a base or something.
Totally.
Like you're like, I'm just gonna map out,
Yeah.
jump from light to light, see what I can do around here, and then maybe use all my different types of gadgets and stuff. Whereas I'm just swinging in the street and then there's like a car chase or something. I'm just gonna use my regular.
Yeah, you're just going to beat him up. Yeah. But getting back to...
in the face,
Yeah.
guy.
Casey, I hate to do this to you. Can you go shut that fan on for me? Since you're the closest.
Why is he shutting it off?
Because it'll in the mic.
It's barely. We leave that on all the time. Leave it on. We're
No,
gonna
don't.
die. Leave it on. We're going to have to.
What's up with
All right, fine.
Yeah, leave on... No,
Put it
no,
on-
just leave it on
put it on
one.
one.
Go back
Put
to
it on
one.
one.
On the other one.
What would Spider-Man do?
I
That's
don't know.
nothing. Just leave it.
You don't
Yeah,
know
just
it?
leave it. All right, fine.
I think that...
Why when I turn it, does it go up?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Whatever,
never figured it
I
out.
just turn... Well, yeah.
All right, fuck it.
No, that's
No,
fine.
no,
No,
just leave it.
it's fine there.
Yeah, it's gonna get hot. There's 4 of us.
That's what I'm
All
saying.
fine,
Yeah, we
fine.
need it.
Fine.
I'm sorry to anyone who might hear the static.
Sacrifice the
We
quality.
gotta die. We can't die. But getting back to the beginning, I do think just the whole Fisk introduction is a great way to just get you into the mechanics, get you into the swinging,
And
it teaches you everything.
It takes off the story really well.
That's another thing, yeah.
Especially since they don't really delve into Fisk too much, and I think Kingpin's a character that most people probably know or recognize
Somewhat,
to
yeah.
start it off, and then kind of have him fade into the background, and then the actual game starts
Yeah.
and picks up a little bit. But
How did you guys feel about the choice of him being Spider-Man for 8 years at this point? Like, did you like the setting? Like,
well into it.
yeah,
It's
like,
nice.
did you like that time period?
You know, with the movies we've had and things, you know,
We know
it's-
the origin.
We've had that, you know. It's cool to
And-
jump
yeah.
in years later.
And
I think it would have been tough for them to do like an origin right after Homecoming.
Totally.
did you watch
Yeah.
Kind of Funny spoiler cast for
Yeah.
this? Okay, I just watched it. and We both watched it. I was just
And it is-
But yeah.
I
Watched
really
it
do
a week ago.
appreciate that
Whenever it came out.
he's our age. Like, he's 20,
Yeah,
22.
literally
Like,
After
fresh out of
college.
college. He is
it's
our
really
age.
it's cool. Like, it's like, this is me. Kind no, obviously it's not, but like
This
it
could be
makes
me.
you.
This is I
In
am
a
Peter
fake
Parker.
world.
Yeah, this could be me. Who knows?
Chances.
But it does
Might
make
be
me
me.
empathize with him even that much more. I feel like it really kind of
Yeah.
works.
This thing is so
Uh,
sick.
Fucking sick, dude. I
And
love
then-
it. I'm so happy.
And
I
it
got my
gave them
hands
a lot
on
of freedom with like the
Filling in the backstory.
the villains they were
Yeah.
using,
Yeah.
like
it.
oh,
Through the backpacks. a
yeah,
lot,
like we
you know?
we didn't have to they didn't have to like introduce every single villain. It was like,
Mhm.
oh, I've been doing this for 8 years. I've run into these guys.
Yeah,
like,
and
stuff like that.
especially like you're saying with the backpacks, how they can go back in and just kind of fill it in with what, like, you get mentioned that Mysterio he's had like encounters with, and
Yeah.
like
Sandman.
Sandman, and it's cool. Those are very awesome story devices to just kind of tell you and fill you in on what's been going on in his whole life.
Yeah. So
In
Go
the bios as well. The bios
Tell-
break down things that have happened leading up
Yeah.
to
Look
now
into
as
those
well.
more.
You didn't
It's
look at the
funny.
bios?
I looked at them a little bit,
What
but
you
I didn't
mean?
like
Bios
go through
has some-
everyone.
they're
Bios
not like
has some-
that long.
Kind of cool Easter eggs in some bios.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I used to look at them all in Arkham and stuff
with-
too.
I wrote down a bunch.
With okay,
Did you?
full spoilers here. It's hard to talk about this game because there's spoiler in
Spoiler,
the first
spoiler.
30 minutes.
50
Otto
spoilers.
Octavius' bio when they say like 6-year-old kids look up to Iron Man and Captain America, but I looked up to Otto Octavius. I was like,
Well, but even
I
like,
was like, this is it.
when you go by Avengers Tower and you take a picture of it for the landmark photo, he goes, "Huh, I wonder where I think the Avengers
Well,
are on the West Coast
the
right
West
now
Coast
or
Avengers,
something."
Yeah.
But I think that I'm just assuming that's. I guess everyone is that's what the Avengers game is going to be about. I feel like they're that's what
I didn't
that's
even know
referencing.
Oh, dude, if
Yeah, for
they,
Square Enix,
if they did that, I'd fucking lose.
It-
My
Like you're gonna. I think they're
I
going to
hope
be on
they
the
do.
West Coast, like in whichever game you're
It
in.
depends. It depends how much of like how much Marvel Studios with Disney is going to like want to control the
So-
storyline of these games. Whether like if they're
Yeah.
like, all right, do your own. I don't know if like I feel like with Spider-Man they're kind of just like do your own thing. Like,
What's
he
his
was the
name?
first one.
The who's the director on this game? We were watching things with the game director. He's awesome. I was
Ryan-
listening to a bunch of
Ryan
podcasts.
Harmer or whatever.
He was
Sure.
talking
I
about. He's like,
butchered
this
that last
is
name.
this
Yeah.
is the Iron Man of this
Yes, yeah.
of Marvel's video game story. So this is the
Universe.
tee
That's
up.
a
Yeah,
power
sorry,
move by them.
but that's like.
Yeah.
Games now.
So he was saying like he would have to go to them to see what he could put in and what they didn't want to put in, but like, yeah, I think this is the kickoff of their video game.
Yeah.
universe.
20 games later.
And I'm,
Yeah.
I'm like going off that. It's kind of like curious. Like, are these all going to be PS or like Sony exclusive?
Well, I don't think the
I
Square
think
Enix
so.
one. I don't think is
It is-
definitely
it-
exclusive. I don't think is
But
exclusive.
like,
I should say.
Spider-Man can't be in that game.
Yeah, like
See,
those-
that's
the
I didn't
interesting
think
thing.
about that.
He should be
How
in the
could-
universe.
See, I don't know because
It's a Sony license. Like they're not
Yeah,
going to allow
shit,
him in
you
that.
can't, he can't be
They
on
might
Xbox.
mention them, but like
and that's the sucky part. I really do like. I'm talking to kids like, and they're like, "Man, why couldn't they just release it on both?"
They would've made more
consoles?"
money.
They would have,
It really would
but even
have.
at the same time, they
That fastest selling PlayStation game of all time.
who knows
he's
how
definitely
much
sold
money
a lot of
Sony
consoles,
gave
man.
him.
This is a
Yeah.
big time console buyer.
Yeah.
That console's so sick.
The
It's
PlayStation.
dude.
Yeah,
it's their best one.
Isn't it fun?
I think.
It's funny
It's
that we
better
have
than the
somebody
500.
who got the limited edition console, and I mean, I kind of got the collector's edition. I like bought
think
it
both.
afterward, but I have it. I have the statue.
The PlayStation exclusives are really making like
No, and it's,
pulling
do you
it
know how many
away.
people probably
and-
just bought a PlayStation for that?
And I was
Yeah.
just about to
Yeah.
say, and just making that
I mean, I
exclusive
bought a
for
second PlayStation for this.
My
I
life
was-
was
Well, my first one
my
was like
plan was
but
to
yeah.
buy
on
it
this
for
last
this.
leg.
Yeah.
I happened to get it for Black Friday. Like
So you-
last
'cause you were-
year,
yeah,
but
you
I
were
was
like,
like,
screw-
all right, when Spider-Man comes out,
I
don't
need
have a
that.
choice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
now have
yeah.
too many exclusives that I'm missing out on. 'cause
No, it's so true, and
I'm so glad.
it's a whole nother conversation. But I do hope Xbox really steps up their exclusive titles next generation, which it seems like they.
But that's a podcast. For
I feel like I was
another
gonna say
day,
you
so I
guys
agree.
need another one of them. That's like a continuum.
No,
That
definitely.
should be a series, like your
Yeah.
Xbox versus PlayStation. Like
It'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
for this generation, it's pretty polarizing and obvious that PlayStation blew Xbox out of the
Right.
water. But
Well, and I know like
yeah, I agree. That's actually a good thought.
like a serialized.
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Just recurring.
and I know like all of these first party exclusives from Sony have like a really good relationship too, because I know that like Insomniac sent I think Santa Monica all copies of the game, and also
Yeah.
who does what's it called?
Naughty Dog, maybe
Naughty Dog is the
is
Last
Last
of
of
Us.
Us and stuff.
And Uncharted.
And Uncharted.
No.
Uncharted.
um
Uncharted.
God of War.
No, not that's.
Sony
That's
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica. Sandy Monica.
I'm,
Sandy Monica.
I'm picturing it's a red hair woman.
Horizon.
Horizon.
Oh,
I know they sing
Gorilla.
They sing Gorilla. I
Yeah.
know they sing. I was gonna say Gorilla, but I wasn't sure. I know they sang Gorilla all the games too. I know Gorilla like put up like art of like
Yeah.
the
Sure.
Kratos.
So all
what's
the
her name?
exclusives. all the
Aloy?
exclusives-
Yeah.
and
Alloy and close.
Spidey like together. They did like art.
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, I saw that. One crazy thing, I don't know if you picked up on this, and I'm pretty sure you played Sunset Overdrive, but
I did.
Insomniac made Sunset Overdrive. This is the predecessor, right?
No, that's isn't predecessor before.
It's the
No, Sunset Overdrive is the predecessor to this game.
Yes.
That's
100%, 100%.
They even mention it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like just the whole movement and everything. And
Yeah.
you mean
Jumping
like the
from-
mechanics?
Yeah.
Like,
just
dude,
getting
that's
on
an
to-
awesome game.
Yeah,
It
and
was
that game,
free.
I had it for
not
free
a lot of
on
people
it.
talked about it too much,
Yeah.
and it was it was an Xbox exclusive. But and then they did
It's a
the
launch
Ratchet
game,
and Clank remaster.
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
so.
Ratchet and Clank in general. And
Ratchet and
Insomniac
Clank's
has been
awesome.
in the business for a while, and this is
Yeah.
the first game where they really like broke from their mold a
They did
little bit.
Spyro too.
Yes, in
Dude,
the
I can't
beginning.
wait for that to come.
I can't
Yeah.
either. Yeah, they did a phenomenal job with this game, and even the story's not the most surprising. I would say.
No, it's
you can
it's
definitely
we were comic book fans. We know this
exactly.
shit.
So like when you see spoiler alert, Doc Ock's introduced, and you see him and he's this good guy. I do think they kind of play with you
Are
a
you
little bit.
talking about Doc Ock or Otto Octavius?
I'm sorry, you're right. Otto
Yeah.
Octavius, and you're like,
Which-
oh, cool. Like this is interesting, and for the most of the game, you're like, okay, he's probably going to be Doc Ock. There were a few spots for me where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
are they going to go the
So-
good way with him or not? Or then, but then,
Good-
yeah.
A good segue into that moment, because after the first mission, one of the first things you get to go do, besides, I think you beat up, you do one of those crime things to introduce you to that, and then one of the towers. The first thing you do is go to the lab, go to work, and the reveal of Doc Ock or Otto Octavius is there. What did you guys think? Like, were you like? Because I was like, oh shit. This is fucking happening.
Yeah, I was like,
it's Doc Ock time. But
that's
like,
the thing.
But like as we went, I was like, I don't know. Like I couldn't tell.
From as soon as they introduced him, I was like, how are they gonna make this guy bad? Because he seems like
No, they
the
really did
nicest.
make
he seems
him
like
into
your
the
dad.
very
Like
scene.
Yeah.
he seems like the coolest guy that you're always gonna want to hang out. How am I gonna now have to?
I wanna hang
beat
out
the
with
shit
Otto
out of him
Octavius.
later.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I
thought they
could
were
do
gonna
that.
wait on it. Like,
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
the whole time till like halfway, 3/4 of the way through the game, I'm kind of pissed they made it like so obvious Martin Lee was the bad guy, and like the whole time
yeah.
I'm still like, nah,
This-
there's no way Doc Ock's a good dude, and then like you really start to see him become unhinged, and you're like, oh fuck, dude.
Dude,
Once
they're
so totally
Osborn
misled me,
takes
yeah.
the original arm and equipment is kind of
when he starts going
when
on
the
his down-
decline
yeah.
starts.
And when he finds out, so Peter works on his suit in the lab, and then he comes in and did you not like that?
No.
When he
I thought it
goes
was a little
like, oh,
cheesy.
you make Spider-Man suit?
Yeah.
I don't know why it got me.
I
It was cheesy.
It was cheesy,
was
but
cheesy,
it
but
actually
it was
made
a
me.
comic
Oh,
book
yeah.
moment. in
He
that
was
game.
so cool and stuff that I thought he was just like, oh yeah, okay, you make. I think it. I took it as like Peter seems like such a guy that
Right.
there's no way it could be him.
I believe
that he was like,
Yeah.
oh, you make his stuff because you're so fucking smart. That
Makes
makes
sense,
Okay.
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
laughed because like how stupid can you be, Peter? Like
Well, he knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
yeah.
Oh,
I
that
mean, we find
I actually
out.
see that worked so well for me though
And
when
we'll
he's
get,
like
we'll
when
get
he
to
goes,
the ending.
Peter, and
I don't
I'm
want
like,
to jump there too quick.
and then he goes, you fucking knew, and then he goes, you knew, like the second one, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, he knew. It was so fucking good. It was really
Yeah.
good. Doc Ock's, he's awesome. The guy, I don't know who plays him, but he's killer.
Yeah.
Did a really good
Great.
job.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Dude.
And I like how like they introduced like the suit and the goggles are sitting on his
You can
desk
pick him
and,
up and look
and
at
you're just
him.
like, you know when this is going.
That was one of the things. I saw the suit, and I'm like, well, he's gonna be wearing this suit. And he's gonna be wearing these goggles. Okay, that's fine. I don't
Dude,
care.
it was so impressive. The NPC in general, like the dialogue, how like
The
their
facial animations and
mannerisms,
stuff?
like you could see them mouthing the words.
It was like
that
L.A.
was
Noir,
so good.
almost, like
Yeah.
that type of facial tracking.
Or when is it a mug that he has that drops when they're first trying to test it?
Oh,
And
the
the anger in his face when it
Yeah.
doesn't work the first time, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
like
dude.
that's a side we haven't
Yeah.
seen yet
Yeah,
in the game.
no.
Like he's
They were,
getting
like,
pissed.
I think it was around that scene when like he has the arms and he's juggling or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, when he has the two
the
regu-
balls.
he has it
Yeah.
attached
And
to his thing, and then
and
they
then,
start.
like,
yeah, that's after he
Peter
makes the
fixes it
upgrade.
for him, and then
the moment when I 100% knew I was like, okay, they're definitely going Doc Ock
Yeah.
is when in that scene it's kind of like he's doing the motions or whatever, and the arms in front of him are like looks like they're his arms, but
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm talking
yeah,
about? And I
yes,
was like,
yes.
alright, they're going.
Yeah,
They're going.
they-
the way the
they-
arms
they-
like stretched and stuff
Yeah.
too. They
So
were really just the
weird.
whole look was awesome. awesome.
And then I love how
The yellow pin.
Yeah.
I love how, like, you know, he says he's working on Easter egg contract for AIM.
I just brought that up.
Yeah, with
That's
AIM,
on my list.
and you're like, oh, he's working on weapons. No, he's working on like better equipment for the Sinister Six.
And when he goes like, man, that piece of shit's been working on my enemy's fucking tech this whole time in the same building with me. That was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Peter essentially builds Doc Ock's arms.
Yeah, he
creates
fixes,
him. Yeah,
well, not fixes, but he makes it working and operable.
and
so
I
that he
think
can
that's like I don't want to jump to the end just yet, but
No,
like,
totally.
I'll hint or like talk about it. But I think that's one of the things that made Doc Ock work so well. He was such a villain. It was such a betrayal to Peter, but like he was such a villain to Spider-Man on equal ground. Like it's not like, okay, Norman Osborn, Peter Parker knows who he is.
Yeah, he knows he's a piece of shit.
And
Yeah.
and like he knows he's like not the greatest guy.
Uh-huh.
But Spider-Man and Green Goblin's relationship is a little bit different than Peter and Norman's. It's not on the same level. So just because they know each other doesn't necessarily like it's still in both
You assume-
avenues. But like this one is like full blown, like 100%. Like Peter is as much as his enemy as Spider-Man
Yeah.
is.
And what was I gonna say? Ock is just set up so well in the way of like they really make you feel for him. Just like that they give him this disease, this like degenerative muscle disease, and like he's like, my fucking brain's fine,
So wait,
but my body.
can he not move? We're
No,
talking
well
about the ending so much, but-
he's slowly starting to go.
Degenerative.
Yeah, like you
but
can
like
see
at
it
the end,
sometimes.
he can't get up.
I think it's the idea is by that time it's been getting even worse, and like he's just been relying on his arms by that point.
Okay.
In the bio, it says he's 63 years old. I mean,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Regardless
I thought it
of
was
whether he has this disease or not, he's getting up there in
Yeah.
age of what he could do regardless.
Even Norman Osborn seems pretty old too.
Yeah. I think they
Vulture's
gave you a.
Yeah, he's always old.
70 something.
Yeah.
In his bio, that's what they
Yeah,
said.
yeah, but he's always been
Yeah,
old too.
Vulture's
He's, like,
70
he's an old
years old.
dude.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in Homecoming, it's such a different character.
No, totally. But they give you such a, at least for me, a great reason to sympathize with him and like really just feel for him. And I feel like they did make me think like it's the arms doing this to them. I don't know if this was him before that because
I wouldn't say that.
it's after. I feel like he only really starts going downhill after Norman comes in and takes all his shit.
I
And
think
then
I
that's
think
when
it's
he
I think
really
it's a
starts
little bit
getting-
of both.
Yeah.
And I think having the thing in his head, it just amplified anything. Don't get me wrong, I think that side of him was supposed to be there, but I don't think it would have necessarily shown in force if it weren't for those arms. But
Yeah.
that's my prerogative.
So let's get into the game.
Yeah,
like
nitty-gritties.
you know, not talking about all the story points, but just experience.
Just our just things.
So I mean, Trio's got a lot of points. Who wants to fucking just start with
So
something? Like-
I'll just start right off.
Uh,
What were your favorite suits? I'm very curious about this.
Dude, they're all fucking great.
I
love them all.
disagree with that. I think half of them were stupid as
I
shit.
fucking hate
Yeah,
you.
some of them were. I was like,
So, Gooch, you said something when playing the game that you couldn't switch your suit because it took you out
Story
of it.
missions, yes. I always switch back to White
I
Spider.
agree with
Oh,
that. No, not even just story. I didn't. I haven't. I
You didn't
only
switch
started
suits at
using
all?
suits until after I beat the campaign.
Okay,
Okay.
hey, fair. Because guess what? With games, I usually do that, but the suits were so cool.
Because
It was a little bit.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what suit you're wearing because you can still get the ability of that suit
No,
with
and
another suit.
that's-
So
Which is
Genius.
awesome.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
They
so
didn't
genius.
lock you into that suit to
Yeah.
use that ability.
Yeah.
Spider Bro is the
Dark
best.
suit, the red
Yes.
and black one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I just think there were some that I loved. Like I really loved the noir suit. The stealth suit was one of my favorites. I played in that all the time. What I mostly used for the campaign missions actually was his classic suit. I like it better than the White Spider personally. I think that classic just like
Nah,
Spider-Man-
dude, the White Spider.
just his classic suit restored. Oh, it's so
I pretty
good.
much do whatever for stories, but then for the very last mission, I did make a conscious effort to go classic suit.
Yeah.
So
I just like
that's when I end up.
Yeah,
It looks so
it's like the
good.
immersion of
Yeah.
it, which I'm so.
Yeah, it's like
No,
it's all about
I was
immersion.
wearing,
but
like,
even
this-
like sorry.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I know exactly. It was a scene when like the building's burning or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a spirit.
Spirit Spider, yeah. That's what am I
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
here?
Yeah, that's my thing.
No, that's-
Seriously, like that's my
No,
thing.
no,
Like,
they're
it kind of takes you out of it a little bit.
No, I put on I had the what's it called suit? The comic suit, like
I
the
use
cell
that
shaded
all the
one.
time.
But I had it on during a
That's a dope
scene,
suit.
and it was like a pretty serious scene where he's talking to MJ, and I'm like, damn it, I wish I had the other suit.
There was only-
I
there
never
was
wanted
only-
to change it, but it always happened.
No,
There was
dude.
only one scene that I had in the story that I had the wrong, like the wrong suit on, and it was the Secret War suit, and guess what color that happens to be? Miles Morales' suit, and guess who happens to be in the scene?
Miles.
And I took a picture with, like, he's on the ground and he reaches his hand, and it looks like it's Miles' suit. I was like, this is fucking...
Yeah, no.
I was like, this worked out.
Yeah.
I did notice that the very last mission, when Peter goes into the lab, he's
To make
in
Antioch?
he's in the white suit.
Yeah, no, that's the so
That's
that's
the
the
only
interesting
time.
thing.
That's the only time that they.
And even like there's the one
Oh,
part where he's
they
like in his
forced you
underwear
into
for
it?
some reason, and then like
Yeah.
it's just he just has his mask on. It's his regular mask, depending on no matter what you're
Yeah.
wearing.
Is that what he's making the?
That was a
Yeah,
scorpion,
he's like he's freaking out because of the scorpion venom, and then he just wakes up with only his mask on. But what I love, I got into the museum scene, and I was wearing the noir suit, and like just the stitching on all the suits and like all the little details, seeing his mouth move and like the mask stretches and like the way it would, it's fucking awesome. Like they really dug into the suits.
I can't pick a favorite. I really like them all. Like, I mean, maybe
Top three.
The underwear one is funny, and then the ESU one is, whatever.
I
But
love the
all
Mark
of them.
IV
Like,
armor.
I really
Mark
appreciate
4's
all of them. I
Just
really
like the
do.
metal version of his suit. Oh,
That's the one that
Oh,
Alex
so
Ross
nice.
draws a lot.
yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. I love that suit.
I think I played most of the game with Spider-Man 2099 Blue.
Yeah.
See, it's
yeah.
I
Well,
like
black.
Edge,
I think it's
the
black.
Edge of
I like
Shadows
yeah, it
suit.
is. I'm sorry, I wrote that down wrong.
But
I
it's
like
blue.
the white suit
But
actually.
it-
Yeah, if
it's-
they call it black
Yeah,
for some
but
reason.
it is blue.
I really like the white suit for that. To
Casey,
be honest,
did
a
you
little bit
really
more.
like? I know you told me you like Spirit Spider a lot, like last
I
weekend.
liked
Really?
it for the novelty. I didn't.
I think
use
it's
it for-
cool.
I didn't use it a lot.
Yeah,
but
I
I
use-
just,
when you're
I
swinging around the
unlocked it, I
city,
was
it's
like,
cool.
holy fuck,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
pretty
it's
wild.
one of the really different ones.
Yeah,
It's very like dark.
I
It
think-
almost feels out of place in the game's. set,
Totally.
but that was
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of like that.
I think
Yeah.
one of the worst ones might be the electric insulated one. I think it's cool, and it's kind of has that shocker. Or
there are
no,
just some-
electro-esque suit, but I don't know. It's
There's
kind of
some that I'm like, why'd you put this in? But then if you're like, all right, Trio, which other ones do you want? I'd be like, I don't know. I just want
Don't ask me
something
questions.
cool.
Like-
Yeah.
Well, like,
shut up.
I'm like 3/4 of the way when I was unlocking the suits, and I was like, "What? How many more suits can we
Yeah.
have?" Like, not that I'm complaining, but I'm like, I can't even think of ideas of what we could do. And you're like, you're excited because every single
Well,
time.
you
something
know
new.
the one they didn't do that they obviously could have done, but they're saving it because of the second game is totally going to be the
Symbiote suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the black Venom.
The black,
Yeah.
yeah, just the black
yeah.
suit with the white spider.
I knew it.
yeah.
I'm just like, they're not going to do that. That's
Which
too
is, like-
heavily
and he
narrative.
even
I was
actually-
holding out for that. I thought they would.
Yeah, no, the game director mentioned it in one of
On
his
the-
things. He's
on
like,
the-
he was like, that's something that we feel like deserves the story time and doesn't
Yeah.
deserve
Oh,
just to be
100%.
unlocked.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. Actually, I'd love
We'll get to the end.
as if it was whether it be a sequel or even just a DLC with Venom or where he gets that'd be cool.
So what did you guys think of like all the villains? Like, how'd you think about the Sinister Six and I guess Tombstone and Tombstone's the only like and Shocker.
I thought they were cool. I wish we didn't know about them before. That whole scene.
I don't know.
That whole, I wish we didn't see that rap. I mean, I guess it's like, what
Here's
else
the-
do you play?
Here's the
What
thing.
else do you show?
You-
But
you
like
s-
that whole rap scene, I knew that was Doc Ock coming up the thing. I knew that.
Honestly,
100%.
I didn't. I
was like, who else could it be?
wasn't sold that it was Doc Ock.
By
just
that
yet.
time in the game, I knew it was Doc.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, it only makes sense.
The preview stuff, I had no idea. Who
Yeah,
it
no,
was.
no.
I thought it
Same.
would have been like I
Green
thought it would
Goblin
have
or
been
something?
Yuri. No, just from watching the preview stuff.
Yeah.
And like, cause you're with Yuri for a couple of stuff, I was like, maybe Yuri's like in on this the whole time. Like, and
Or
I had
some-
no idea
yeah.
what character should be
Is she
playing.
a
but-
game?
I think
She's
she is
a
a
comic
comic
book-
character.
she's a
but,
comic
like,
book character,
much.
yeah.
She's not a very known.
She-
Did
so,
this,
like-
did this game follow any storyline? Existing
No.
storyline?
It
That's
very much.
Traded its.
I mean, the
Arkham- not
Sinister
even, like-
Six. Like
It took things
storylines.
from
They
all.
It's
different-
almost like they took the first 30 issues of the original Amazing Spider-Man, and that's
And then
what is
and then
his,
they threw
like-
Miles Morales in there.
Yeah,
no,
and then
they
and
have
then
a
they-
ton of Ultimate Universe like
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
like
no,
a
they
ton.
do. And
Like the Norman and Doc Ock relationships, Ultimate Universe.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Standing beef. Like,
Yeah, it's-
like that. They used to be like they used to have.
Or the name.
Well, because Doc Ock used to be a patient of Norman. He was like an experiment.
oh really?
In the Ultimate Universe.
I did not know that. Yeah,
But then they have a previous relationship, like stuff like that. They took a bunch of stuff from Ultimate.
yeah.
I think
They-
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
They definitely have very similar origins for the most part, if not the same origins in this, or like how things go. Maybe they're out of order, different. Like I think Doc Ock usually shows up before like Electro and like all the Sinister Six and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't think they made any changes to where it's like
Yeah.
lore breaking
One
or
th-
anything like that at all.
One thing I really like is how like most of the villains Spider-Man has fought, the ones we see in this game and the ones we only hear about, are all like C and B listers.
Yeah.
We really haven't hit Venom,
I think-
Carnage,
Yeah, I guess
Green
right.
Goblin, Hobgoblin. Like Doc Ock just gets introduced and he's a big one
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah, I
But-
think he's the biggest. I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
maybe Rhino. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. I guess that's
but like
definitely-
besides Scorpion, Rhino, Vulture, Electroshocker, we all know those. But like Mr. Negative and Tombstone are two villains.
would have
that-
never known.
Yeah, I didn't know who Tombstone was until
I
this
didn't either.
game. I knew about Mr. Negative a little bit before, but I like how they teed off the trailers with showing him, a villain we don't know
totally.
as much. But that's where I'm thinking about where you say like, oh, I wish they didn't show Sinister Six. But like, imagine if they didn't. Like, you really like Mr. Negative. Like, that's not getting people jazzed up.
Maybe
Imagine
I guess just show something else. Like that Shocker gameplay was awesome. That's cool. And just tell me there's more villains, but don't. I don't know. It's definitely not like it ruined the game for me.
No, it
But
would
I
have been
think
cool
it
to
would
see
have
it
been
for the
like
first time, of course. But
it would have just been cool to come up there. Like as soon as I got to that mission, I'm like, ah, fuck, Doc Ock's gonna show up in this. Like I knew for a fact. And
I was just gonna say that with Mr. Negative, when he's like, he can give his goons powers, basically. You know,
but he's out there negative.
So I thought before we saw, like when we were just seeing E3 things, early E3 when they revealed Spider-Man, I thought we'd just see different varieties of enemies that had powers
negative,
given
yeah.
to them from Mr. Negative, and that was it. And like you said, it would have been nice to not know about that and
then
just
you get to that.
and just make it seem like Mr. Negative and a bunch of
And
like,
maybe even Doc Ock,
powered
like
up
you
goons
start bringing-
were
yeah.
like
powered up.
were like what you can face,
Yeah.
you know.
No.
And also going back to the E3 at the end, like when you go to the raft,
Yeah.
and you don't know who's coming up at
And
the
he's
end
like,
of the
you?
trailer.
And then it cuts.
When it was revealed in the bio that Iron Man and Captain America were part of this world, I was like, are we gonna get an Avenger to come help
See, that's
us
what
right
I
now?
was. Yeah, that.
Am I gonna team up in a battle
I feel
right
like
now?
I feel like no one taking me out of it, but I don't know how I'd feel about that.
It wouldn't have made it its own game.
I definitely
Yeah.
think
Would've
that it
been
was a
that way.
conscious choice to just keep it as Spider-Man with the only hero in this
Yeah.
game. He was the focus.
And I
which
mean,
is
like
good, which is a
clearly
good
we
thing.
get references
Yeah.
in New York to Jessica Jones,
Yeah.
Daredevil,
Sanctum Sanctorum.
yeah,
all that
Doctor
stuff, yeah.
Strange. I
plenty
mean,
of them, yeah.
Cap and Iron Man. But like, I love, dude. There are like 5 or 6 Daredevil references.
Dude, I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say that
Nelson
was
and
the
Murdoch.
Yeah.
You find their place. I was like, fucking avocados. and
What about
love,
the-
baby,
the-
season 1?
Did you
The,
buy them today?
Yeah, I bought them last night.
Yeah.
What about the card?
The card,
that he gets.
yeah.
He's
Oh,
like,
with Eddie
when
Brock?
That's
he
the
get-
first time I
He
read
gives
it.
him the thing.
that
He's like,
was
he
cool.
gave me this if Spider-Man needed any help. How did he know I was
Wait,
Spider-Man?
wait.
He says if he can't, yeah.
What card?
The Nelson and Murdoch card in one of the backpacks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he's like, some
And then
that blind lawyer gave me this in case Spider-Man never needed a lawyer. He's like, wait, how do you know I was Spider-Man? And I was like, oh shit.
I think like going off like kind of the Avengers talk, and this just came to me. The only thing that maybe could have worked, which maybe only could have worked if Spider-Man was a little younger, if it was just like because he mentions the Avenger on the West Coast. If every now and then you get like a call from Tony Stark, be like, "Yo, Peter,
Everything good?
what's
Yeah.
going on in New York right now?" And he'd be like,
Yeah,
everything's
Clearly
fine.
he's
I have
had
it
no
under control.
con-
Well,
I
that's
have it
the
under
thing he
control.
said.
Don't worry, because like he doesn't want to like.
Yeah.
He
Clearly,
does
he's
that.
had no
He's
contact with the
doing
Avengers.
Yeah, he's
Which
like,
is interesting because if he's been Spider-Man for 8 years, how have they not taken notice?
I
of it?
think remember in the beginning part where I think there's like it says like call TS back, and it says like.
Tony.
There's like you have to look it up online. There's like there's different like notes.
Oh, like in his room.
yeah, note
He
stickets
he
that
has
say
a ton of
like,
stuff. I was trying to read.
they
them all.
mention
Just
Mr.
keep going, I gotta take a
Fantastic,
pee
one of
really
them
bad.
too. He says it's something like what's Mr. Fantastic's name?
Sorry, guys.
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards says is RR suit
Trio.
something.
You have to use the
That would
upstairs
hint to,
bathroom.
all the way
Just
up.
like yeah.
Yeah, that would hint to like how I'd be able to like expand and stuff like that. And it says like call TS back.
That's cool because I never heard anyone talk about that.
I totally forgot about that.
So
I
like,
saw stuff like that.
So I was like, does he? I don't know. But like, at the same time, like the Avengers never just like.
It would've
It's
been-
interesting, and Shield doesn't exist. I figured Shield would own Raft, but clearly they don't.
It would have
It's
been
clearly
cool
owned by New York or
to
something.
reveal the Iron Spider suit that way. Like, hey, like we're over here. If you need help, I have
Yeah.
something that might be able to
Right.
help you if you're in like need of extra, something
That would be
more.
a cool cutscene.
Yeah, because there's only
Or just
four-
like a hey Tony, or like hey Peter, go to Avengers Tower. I got some for you, and you better figure out what the hell's going on in New York.
there's only
because we're too
4
busy.
suits
I
that
could have
are.
seen it being. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm
I was gonna
cutting
say I
off.
could just see something where it's like he calls Tony or vice versa, and he's like, "I need some help." He's like, "All right, I got something on your way," and then like Peter would be like, all right, do you need my location or whatever? And like being Tony, he's like, nah, I got it. And then all of a sudden, like something like drops out of the sky.
Yeah.
And, like,
Does the Iron Spider
it's like,
in the game.
what the hell? He like, freaks out, but then it just starts like covering him and like the Iron Spider.
So you guys did the Taskmaster stuff, right?
Yeah.
I have not finished all of them.
I'm so happy Taskmaster.
Okay.
You can, you know,
Oh
you
my-
can tell.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so
it's
what
not
happens?
that
And this
bad.
goes off Avengers. What happens is like once you do the Taskmaster stuff, you fight Taskmaster. Okay, and he pretty much
the best villain ever. I love Taskmaster.
he's been watching the whole time, so like he has similar
That's
moves,
what
stuff
you
like
can
that. And he says like someone hired me to see if you were worth hiring or something. Like paid me to see if you were worth hiring, like six figures. And I thought like, oh, maybe it's like Tony Stark and the Avengers like put Taskmaster on him to see if like he's worth hiring for the Avengers.
I would say it might be.
That's what came to my head right away.
Who does Taskmaster
Yeah, if you
work
think-
for?
But I think he ended up working
In the-
for
I never knew who he was. Till this
He is essentially like a Deathstroke-esque character, and he
Yeah.
mimics other people's abilities. That's essentially what he does.
Yeah, he learns their fighting
I get-
style
yeah, I get
and then
it.
goes back in.
And I just think he's really fucking cool. I would love to see him in the MCU.
Well, yeah, I thought like, oh, maybe the Avengers are trying to.
Oh,
Like,
you
hire
missed
him.
him on this list.
Oh, I did. That's
did?
right.
I like Taskmaster.
No,
Right?
I put Taskmaster challenges
I
in.
like being the least.
I didn't put him as a
villain.
You guys are just like dropping knowledge on me. I'm like, all right. Cool.
Yeah, Taskmaster
I have, like, no
is
secret
a
info.
very Spider-Man villain though.
Yeah,
Like,
he shows up in one of the other games too. I'm fairly like one of the older Spider-Man games. I thought,
really?
if I'm not mistaken, like Web of Shadows maybe or something. But yeah,
Oh, is that what it's called? Not Edge of Shadows, Web of Shadows.
Web of Shadows. Yeah.
But I think in the game he's working for the what's it called?
Yeah.
Whatever. What's her name's the company that Norman Osborn hires.
Sable Industries.
Sable.
Somerset.
Because you know how like
Silver.
when you first fight him, he throws a thing at you and you're like whatever.
Yeah.
And then but then like the Sable guys had that too.
I don't think so.
why
I see what you're getting.
That's why I thought maybe
Reuse,
he
No, it
reuse
does
of
make sense.
assets.
Yeah.
Essentially what that
It
is.
was
yeah.
weird that like
Yeah.
he just kind of had this lightsaber, and he was like,
Dude, who
fight-
fucking, he has a sword. He uses a sword in the comics.
I would have liked to seen him more like you see those guys with the shields, and then there's some guys
He
with the
didn't have
swords.
Sable
Sable
guys
didn't
have lightsabers too. He's definitely working for Sable.
That's what I'm saying. Listen,
That's
no,
the
no.
company that they're talking about.
I just would have liked to seen him. So you face guys with shields and stuff, so you have to fuck with them, and then you face other guys with like the fucking swords. I would have loved to seen him be like a combination of the two, and then keep up with their stuff. I did think he was good though. I liked him a lot. But not to like shit on him.
Real quick before we leave villains and stuff. If you were about to leave villains, I didn't know.
Not really. I
Uh,
was still characters, but go ahead.
Scorpion, when he hits you and you start hallucinating, those missions, while I kind of thought were a little gimmicky, possibly,
Little gimmicky.
the first Spider-Man game I ever played was for PlayStation 1.
And, it was,
And the very first mission, you can't go down to the
Yes.
street level
Yeah.
because there's
like
things,
clouds,
gases
yeah.
rising. And I was like, I wonder if they just grabbed that idea
Like an
from
homage.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that first game, like, you could never swing lower
never walk
because
or
things were
anything.
rising
Supposed
up.
to be high, yeah.
Green, there was like a green gas in that game that would always rise up.
Yeah.
you got me on a good segue here. Speaking of gimmicky stuff, I think one of the lowest points of this game, and it's not necessarily a bad low point, but the MJ and Miles missions, I think, are really just
They just take
Too
you out
many,
of it.
too many of them.
Exactly. I really think
there were one too many MJ missions.
I think if
yeah.
there were like there should have been there definitely should
2
have been the
miles,
museum
right?
one, I think, and I think that there definitely should have been the one where you sneak into Osborn's apartment. Besides that,
The train station? You didn't
oh, I'm
like?
sorry, I forgot about the train
That was
station.
my favorite one.
No,
of
that
all.
was. I'm sorry, I forgot about that one too. I think those
It's
three
cool
are the
seeing
major
him
ones
not
you needed to.
controlling.
Maybe the
Yeah.
Miles scene too, but it just got every
the
time I
Miles
was
ones
going
weren't
to
as
one.
bad, but I understand like the breakup of gameplay. Because that's like
No, I get
in
it.
a
Yeah,
kind
open
of
up.
funny spoiler cast, like he even says like the reason we put those in there is to break up
Change
the
of pace,
gameplay.
yeah.
And it's like, and it's just they're kind of just like, ugh, like I don't know.
And I will say they don't usually overstay their welcome. Like you're usually
It's
kind
not
of through
bad.
it.
It's not super bad, but this game is very good and like it, this
It's
is
definitely
this
the
is a
lower
negative for me.
I remember the one MJ, the one in Grand Central Station, when he's like Spider-Man gets there and he's like leave, and she's like, no, like we're doing this
Yeah, like,
together.
I
like,
can
we're-
do. Yeah, I'm like
I'm fucking Spider-Man.
I can
Leave.
do this, yeah.
I would have webbed her up and threw her on the fucking ceiling.
And that was
so cheap.
that was I mean like we kind of laugh at that, but like that was really part of like not making MJ a damsel in distress.
No,
which
and
is,
I
like,
get-
the
I
whole
just
point,
think-
which is why she's like I would assume super less sexualized
It's
than
not
she
because she's
usually is.
MJ,
in the-
it's because she's not Spider-Man.
True.
Yeah,
There's
no,
no
like,
reason for
I'm
any
Spider-Man.
person
No, it's true,
at
and
all
it's just.
to be there
But, you
other
know,
than Spider-Man.
looking at MJ's character, comparing this to maybe the comics or even the Raimi trilogy, like she's very different.
No,
this.
totally. She's
It's
more.
the
She's
Raimi
more.
trilogy.
She's a prop in the Raimi trilogy, but
Oh, I mean, she's a prop in
that the
a lot of
original?
Spider-Man comics.
Is that
She's
the original movies?
Yeah,
the Tobey Maguire ones, but.
Yeah. Oh, not the Amazing.
No, that's the Amazing.
yeah, because look up MJ.
And
like,
I will
on
say
Google.
there
you'll get like
She's a super
There was
Ross.
kind of a good.
she's a super Ross.
There was a good payoff. I will say when she was like, she actually apologized. She's like, "I'm sorry, Peter. Like I just want to feel like I'm not being useless." I was like, "All right, that's actually great. I would accept your apology. I appreciate you realizing."
It would be tough knowing who Spider-Man was and knowing that they always save
See,
the day.
no, like,
it's always him who's like pulling it off at the end of the day.
And I appreciate that, but like getting back to what you're saying, like, yeah, he should be handling that situation that she was
Yeah.
in, like 100%.
Like,
It's not even a
Like
thought.
I'm here, like good
Like
job,
it's not like she's like, what? You don't think I can do this? Like, no, I can lift
It's
a
just like,
goddamn
okay,
arm.
I literally
and
know
can
you
swing
cannot do
from
it.
buildings.
I kind of get the point. Like, imagine you are Spider-Man's girlfriend, and like, and you are
I get
like
that,
he's
but,
Spider-Man.
like, it's not like
come
he's.
on.
Yeah,
I get it. Like, I get why she was the way she was, and I wouldn't say it's a bad part.
Okay, I
but-
wouldn't. Okay, say you thought you could fly a plane. Would you? Plane's going down. There's an extra pilot,
That's what
and you say, "No, I think I can do this." And the pilot's like, "No, I'm literally a fucking pilot. Let me take control."
No, like I know how to fly a plane. I'm flying the plane. Thank you very much. I agree 100%. It's so
That
fucking
sounds like
true.
it's like MJ.
I do
or
shoot
anything like
webs
that.
out of my wrist.
Yeah, I can lift cars. I can drop off a building.
He's like standing upside down on the ceiling. Do you see what I'm doing?
Can you do this?
Yeah,
No.
Well, in that mission, the Grand Central Station mission, if you ever free look around, he's actually like
Yeah.
No, he's
flipping
up there,
through,
yeah.
like
Cool.
things like
I
it's
like
very cool to
Yeah.
see him like
Mhm.
moving and
I tried to get a couple of pictures of him like dropping
down and getting people.
grab people. Yeah.
Speaking of pictures, photo mode, fucking love
Awesome.
it, as
Very
always.
cool.
No, it
And,
is
and
really cool.
I will say some games with photo mode doesn't connect me. Shout out to Tomb Raider has photo mode, and I'm not really into it. But when some Horizon and Spider-Man have really got me with the photo mode, it sucks. God of War's photo mode wasn't
Came
out
out
at
after.
day one.
I was just
'Cause
messing
think I
around with it
would've
the other
used
day. Actually, it's cool.
Yeah,
No,
but
the
like,
one
oh my
that-
god, I've taken so many pictures.
Yeah, this one and Origins have been like my big
Oh
photo
yeah,
ones.
I forgot about photo mode.
But no, it's really cool. It's very specific to Spider-Man, which I love. Just all the fucking frames and everything are really cool. But yeah, no, they put some time into it.
Yeah.
It shows.
Yeah, you gotta. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
When does Odyssey come out?
Yeah.
We'll go right back to pictures.
Oh,
We'll go right
fifth,
back to
the fifth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Photo mode.
Yeah.
Very dank.
No, that especially in that
photo
too. I love how you can just in Origins you could just click the left and right stick and you were right into it.
Yeah.
I want.
But going back
To
to the
easier, that would be. But I guess it's just a
No, yeah.
I wanted to talk about Silver Sable a little bit because I think like once
Weird
she's
ending.
introduced, I liked her. The middle I didn't, and then the very end I liked her again.
Weird ending though.
I just
She
didn't.
just
I don't
kind of
know if
like
that's
does
what she's like,
nothing.
where she's just-
Like,
Exactly,
like
I
she's
know.
there.
I need to reevaluate
She's there
that,
to
like-
be like the head of
Yeah, I don't know
Sable,
much about her.
who's another enemy. But like,
Yeah.
and then at the end, I kind of like, I was like, oh okay.
I
kinda
didn't
like
get
this.
her switch. Why do you care? Why are you cool with him now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I have to be Spider. You go in and you save him, and I'll stay out here. No, it's your fucking client. You go in and save him.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Are you
Because she realizes that she's working for.
But she
a
couldn't have
shithead.
realized earlier that he was helping her the entire fucking
the entire
time.
time.
How
Yeah,
would
like-
she know? She doesn't live in New York.
But still,
He's been around for 8 years. He's been doing it for 8 years.
He's a vigilante.
He is a Spider-Man.
She
He's
is-
a dude who runs on walls.
Dude,
No.
imagine you have no idea who Spider-Man
I mean, yes,
is.
everyone
I
else
just
sees
don't.
him.
I don't think it's
He's a
ridiculous that you're
psycho
making it out.
who
to be.
dresses up and goes out and
Don't get me
fights.
wrong, but I just think his
Shit out of
8
people.
years
Sociopath.
of his record has shown that he can be pretty helpful in these situations.
Well, just look at J. Jonah Jameson. You can't argue with him. Like, I'm just saying, like, don't try to, like, argue the opinion when you know he just hates him.
No, true, but like I don't get why she hates him. Is the problem?
Because she's in there. He's in her way. That's the only reason.
He's helping her though. I don't know.
He is,
I
but, like,
still don't know.
she's got a job to
She
do.
would have
and
been, she would have royally fucked up. Yeah. She would have royally fucked up like 3 times if Spider-Man was around. She's like, "You're still a piece of shit. I hate you." Like, all right, fine, I guess. I don't know what to tell
And
you.
at the end, like 40 dudes are come shit. I'll handle these guys outside.
2 guns? You're like, oh, okay.
You go in and save
No,
Norman.
no, I want to watch this.
Yeah, next time
Scene is
Just perch
Yeah.
outside, just watch her. Just
The
smoke
scene in
people
This Is
down.
the End when Jonah Hill's like, bang, bang. That's what I thought of as soon as she ran out with the 2 pistols.
Bang, bang.
Dude, Doc Ock should have just hired her because every time Spider-Man faced her, he got his ass kicked.
Immediately,
every
yeah.
time, like it wasn't even close. And you're
Yeah,
like,
like she just
she's just
slams
as a
into-
person with guns and fighting abilities, I guess. But like,
Apparently she packs.
How is she
than,
so?
Like, Rhino when you get hit by him.
Yeah, she's always captured,
She,
like
like,
wrapping
knocked
him
him
up,
up.
or like he's always like, ah, shit, I lost again.
Yeah, oops.
Like,
Just made me
she
look like the fool.
might be the hardest person to fight the whole time.
Yeah.
The way they
I don't know. I think
portrayed
you guys
her.
are giving a little too much of a hard time.
I don't know, man.
I was very impressed, not in like the awe-inspiring sense, but like it left an impression on me, like how easy the game felt.
Yeah,
Like,
even on. Did we all play on the hardest difficulty?
It was a challenge, and that's it. It was not difficult.
Yeah.
Did we all play on the hardest difficulty?
I did.
Yeah.
Played Spectacular.
Okay, so we all played on Spectacular.
I
Yeah,
had
but
no,
that's
I had
a good
no
thing.
problem with any mission.
Because look
like,
at God of War
getting
and look at this
frustrated.
game.
Yeah, I didn't even try God of War.
Well, it's two
on my
totally
NES.
different beasts too.
True,
Definitely,
but like
just like
God
the way-
of War is I played on Give Me God of War. I platinumed the game on Give Me God of War, and it was fucking hard.
Yeah.
It was like easier as it went, but like those Valkyries, man, that was a challenge.
Oh, I fucking
can't do
bet they were a
one.
challenge for me on regular.
Yeah.
But going off what Casey said, like, there would be times, like, early in the game, you remember when we were all saying, like, swinging you had to get used to, fighting you had to get used to. Once you got used to, like, the regular, just, like, bank robber type people with guns,
Oh,
like,
it was nothing.
you're like, oh, like, is this going to be the rest of the game? Because I can breeze through this. And then they introduce different, like, bigger guys. And then they
Different
introduce
characters,
the Sable guys. And every single time, it got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna start
It was
breezing through it. They would
definitely-
introduce a new enemy type that would keep it less repetitive.
And that's very akin to
Going
Arkham.
off of what you're saying, I
Like-
love how they introduce collectibles and new things as you go. Taskmaster things were introduced. The pigeon, or not the
Black
pigeon,
Cat.
the Black Cat stuff, the research stations, all coming in at different points in the game to
Yeah.
kind of like give you new stuff to do that you didn't have right from the start. It's not
Totally.
like you can do everything. One thing I thought there were too much of, which kind of had me grinding at the end last night to platinum the game before the review, was the crimes. I missed a lot.
No, that
of
was
them.
funny.
And I was just
did
like,
notice
fuck, I
that.
gotta
Like,
grind these out.
I got to the end of the game and I was like, man, I just ignored like.
I didn't. I don't think I didn't
And
ignore
these-
them. That's
well,
the
it's
thing.
not even like I maybe not even ignore them, but I just wasn't trying
Conscious
to,
of
yeah.
it?
And
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
got to it and I'm like, oh man, I have like 5 thug crimes I didn't do in this section or
Yeah.
whatever.
I didn't consciously ignore them. There were plenty of times where like I was right at like the the yellow gold
Yeah.
objective. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't feel like going to stop that.
There's
crime.
no point-
Like,
yeah.
and those numbers
Yeah,
add
they
up. Like
got
there was
it.
probably 10 times.
There's
where I was
cops
like,
around here. We're
shit, I
fine.
should've
Yeah.
done that.
No.
I never ignored one, and I would always go to the thing. But I watched an Easter egg basically type review or something. But
with
like
the Jonah stuff, yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson will call you out for not going to said crime.
Yeah,
Like, they'll
no.
be like, "This bank got robbed,
That's
and
cool.
where
They'll
was
get a call,
Spider-Man?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
It got
dynamic.
robbed."
No, there was
Like-
one I got where it was a woman. She was calling into Jonah, and she's like, "This is a caller that will show you that Spider-Man isn't always going to be there when you need her to. We need him to be." And then she gets on the thing. She's like, "I thought I was in a safe neighborhood. I see Spider-Man swinging around all the time, and I get robbed, and I just see him swing right by." And I did. I swung right
Yeah.
by her. I was like, I gotta get to this, and it was
I
just
got you
funny.
to
It's
do.
interesting.
That happened to me post game. I was looking for a secret.
Yeah, that's when it happened for me. Yeah,
I was like, fuck that.
yeah. I was like, I don't need to right now.
Fuck you, J. Jonah Jameson. I'm done. I don't need to do anymore.
But as a segue into Jonah, I loved the way he was used.
so
in
was
this
he
game.
on a
Very funny.
podcast or was it a radio
It's
show?
a radio
I think it's a
Radio.
podcast, like
It
a
kind of
live radio show /
radio.
podcast.
Yeah, which I thought was very modern, like
Totally.
adaptation of
Patreon.
it.
Like they say, like
Yeah.
he's
Follow me on
retired.
Patreon.
Like Peter says, he's retired.
Yeah, he left
and
a
that-
bugle.
but he just still wants to get his voice.
Yeah,
out
so
there
he
and
does.
stuff,
So he does the podcast, and there's just so many fucking when he's yelling at it like his intern and shit. Like it's great. It really is.
I would always laugh when he would be like shitting on Spider-Man, bring like a testimony on, and they'd be like, "Oh, like the thing you were saying, like, oh, he went right by me when I was getting robbed," and then they'll be like, "But then he stopped the guy and it."
Yeah.
Yeah. There you have it, folks.
Yeah, that's a
real piece of shit.
Yes. There was one I think where the girl's like talking like, yeah, there was this big shootout, and then the cop showed up and helped, and then Spider-Man, and he's like, that's all the time we have for goodbye. I'm like, thanks.
Go to commercial.
Yeah.
After you beat the game, like he like takes credit for Spider-Man being a good
Yeah.
guy. Now he's like, after all my years of calling him out, I guess he finally
Finally
decided
did the right
to
thing.
do the right thing.
There was
He's like, "Am
one thing that he said that I actually like thought was really good, and he was talking. He's like, you know why I don't call Spider-Man a hero? It's because he has all these superpowers. He can fucking lift a car, and he gets out there and saves people. He fucking should be. But you're a hero if you do that without any of
Yeah,
those
you all
powers.
talk
And I
about
was
the
like,
cops, the
Yeah.
real.
and I was
heroes.
like, that was actually like a really good speech from Jonah, and it was
like the one
weird.
redeeming where I was like, all right, I get why you think. Like,
It's like, well,
like, you're not just an old
it
ass
kind of
man.
makes
It's like-
sense.
and he
Yeah.
always says, he's like, give him a badge. Like,
Yeah,
like,
give him a
if-
badge, but train him. And I was like, it is interesting. And I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
they did actually make me like, not even feel for him,
And I
but
like
like
how
I
they-
got it
I
at that
understood
point.
his-
I like
Yeah,
how they
his
just
thought
randomly
process.
like came on like
There are
during the
so
play,
many-
and you can
so
listen to them
many.
after. Yeah, there
Yeah,
are a
that
lot.
is cool that you can listen to them after. There's like 76 or something like that.
Like,
I'm surprised it didn't
I
make
thought there were
this.
more. I thought there was
Maybe there's
than
more.
that.
Probably
So,
because
I
they're
felt
like
in each section
determinate
there's a
based on things.
I
don't know,
think. Well, I think there are some that will just come up like the ones where he's talking to the people and they're like, hey, he swung right by. But then there's like the story point ones that are recorded and that you can always replay. But I could be wrong.
Did you guys find the newspapers? Sorry.
no, not one of them.
Oh yeah.
And the only reason I know is because
The
you
news-
guys.
I
Told me
found
about
like
it.
2 of them. And
You
then-
mean like the ones that were
I'd,
on like the?
like they would be in like the newspaper stand, you know, like on the
Oh, I
street.
didn't
how
know
those
you could
newspapers-
actually
I
get
had
them.
not known
I
that
got
was a
some
thing.
of them that were on the
They're not
wall.
part of the 100%
No,
completion.
thank God.
There's
Interesting.
28 of them, I think. I have like 8.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I felt like
didn't
2
know
of them.
that.
I was just
like,
running
yeah,
the streets at
yes.
one point trying to do parkour or stuff, like just like.
And you saw it,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I don't know how I found one too, but,
But
I don't
you
know.
can find like the same one more than once and it doesn't count. So it's like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, if you were doing it like as you progress through the game, like say you beat Rhino and Scorpion, there'd be a headline about that. Like,
Yeah.
On the thing. But
By the way, I meant to. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You were saying like get him a badge, like Kelly said. That made me think of just why Spider-Man's my favorite superhero.
Yeah.
And it's because of like a cockiness that
Yeah,
he has.
totally.
And then, he messes around and says Spider
2
Cop.
albums, name them.
He says Spider Cop
Yeah,
with Yuri and stuff
totally.
like that. But then in other like fights, like you're like, hey, like would you guys think about maybe like taking a break right now, or like I thought they just continued to make Spider-Man Spider-Man.
Totally.
And
Yeah. 100%.
during
Yeah.
fights and like
Yuri Lowenthal is the guy who does Spider-Man's voice, and he's in like every game you've ever played. The side characters, I think.
It's funny
I don't
that
know if
the
you guys
other person's
noticed.
name is
I-
Yuri. I just realized.
Yeah,
that.
I noticed his voice like as soon as I started. I'm like, I've heard this guy in like hundreds of games. He's in a lot of shit. But he does a really good job, like between a serious Spider-Man and a jokey Spider-Man. Like,
Totally.
he meshes the two, and that's kind of like when I look back at like the movies and I look at Tom Holland. It's like I couldn't see Tom Holland being this deep. Don't give me that.
What are you talking about?
I like Tom Holland.
He's awesome. He's got
I
the
don't
comedic
think- I don't-
chops. He's serious when he's
I
under
don't
that
thi- I don't-
rebel. He's so good.
yeah.
That's not okay.
I don't know what you
I'll
mean.
hear you.
I don't know.
No, continue. I'm just curious.
I
What
want
do you
to.
mean?
I want to see more serious from him with his villains. He kind of has a serious moment with Vulture, but that's Vulture.
But that's not Spider-Man.
But he's so young.
He's
right now,
so
too.
he always
He's a
makes fun of
high
all his
school
villains
kid.
while he's fighting them. That's his thing.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
quippy.
Once
He's-
we get to the villains who are really
What
like.
about Infinity War? I don't want to go.
yeah, like it's amazing.
I mean,
He's
yeah,
so
it's a
good.
serious
smart.
moment, but
So
like.
many people went, and I was like,
100%.
like that. Yeah, I saw that coming. But then him-
Or to see when he's like, you're an Avenger now, kid, and he's like, and then he does like
Just
the
the way he gets the look.
the slight like
Yeah, dude,
facial
he's-
adjustment where he's like
I think he can do serious.
triggers in his head.
I
No
want to see
trouble.
more. That's the thing.
That's
Like,
what
I'm not saying
Yeah,
I'm
just
not.
through the
From
fingers.
what
I
I've
get
what you're
seen,
saying.
what I've seen isn't bad. I just I
Jesus
want to see
Christ.
more of that side because Spider-Man isn't just all jokes. He is like
It's
that.
definitely a big part of his character.
Definitely
but,
a
yeah,
big
yeah.
part,
His
but like.
clips are so
But I
good.
think he shows through that seriousness when necessary, and I
No,
think
100%.
Tom Holland definitely did that. But
Yeah, a few times, but I just want to see more.
you want it to be even more. I got you.
I want to see. I
want
want to see the character defining moment. Is essentially what,
I gotcha.
what I'm saying. Because we have a character defining moment.
but he's still like 16 in the movie.
And
True.
that's the thing.
True.
And that's. And I think you might just be looking for an older
And
Spider-Man.
like
This is, I think, the
watching
idea.
the original Raimi trilogy and like obviously like that isn't really a good representation of Spider-Man all around, but like that is a.
I
Tobey
feel like
Maguire
that
has a
makes
lot of
sense.
good serious moments in that movie.
Yeah. And they really understood like how the character.
I
Yeah.
forgot. I haven't seen Homecoming. I think I've seen it once in theaters. I never watched it again, which I might watch it tonight. Now that
should.
I'm thinking about it. But like the part where they're at the Washington Monument, like I thought that was pretty serious if I remember correctly.
No, it's good when he's
like, he's like
just-
really panicked like in that scene. I was like, shit.
Nothing sells it
remember
more
being
for me
impressed.
than when he's trapped under that rubble and he's
Oh,
literally
yeah,
just
it's one of-
like he's a
crying,
child.
yeah.
Like he's scared and he's freaking out and I'm like, Jesus, that fucking gets me. But we'll talk
Yeah.
about the movies on a whole nother thing. One other thing I did want to bring up. Well, actually, no. I want to save that towards the end when we're talking about the end.
I'm kind of
Side missions and stuff. I just want to go over this briefly. How did you guys feel about them overall?
everything besides the pigeons. The pigeons is stupid. I don't know why that was in the game.
I actually like the pigeons. The one that
It's dumb.
I didn't love. I didn't love how easy it was to find everything. I did, but I didn't. If that makes any sense. Like whereas like when you get into Arkham and you get the Riddler trophies and it, sure you can unlock all of them.
Other trophies are like
That
didn't
might
bother
be
with those.
depending on your opinion too much. But like I like how it just pops up with the like you gotta interrogate someone. You find pop up where the general vicinity's at. But again, if you gave me this game and then made it like that, I might be like, this is stupid. This stuff's too hard to find and I don't like it. And
The backpacks I had done day of.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I had done, like, second or
backpacks was
third
the
day.
first collectibles. I think it was just so interesting. What do you get? What suit do you get from them?
The homecoming homemade suit.
Okay.
Yeah, which
That-
is
Which is awesome that they included all the homecoming suits.
It's
And it looks awesome.
dude, it looks
Going
so
above and beyond would have been this suit and or not that suit.
You know what I didn't
but,
like was
the
the black.
Tobey Maguire.
Sorry,
No,
was the
sorry.
black cat stuff like that? Just taking like another
Yeah,
picture
I
thing.
know.
If I had to choose one that I didn't really care the most about. And I guess maybe pigeons I probably do care less
Pigeons
about.
are
But
stupid.
I just like the
Fuck outta
story
here.
of like you're helping this homeless dude and you're doing it because his wife died. Like I don't know, I thought that was a cool sentimental reason behind why you're doing it.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
it does
one
feed
point
into that.
when you're grabbing those pigeons where he makes a reference. He says, "I don't think the Avengers are doing missions like that."
Yeah,
it's like he's
great.
like, "Why am
Yeah.
I the guy who has to go?"
And
get
that
pigeons?"
that reminded me of the moment where like Spider-Man's on the roof in Homecoming and he's like, "Hey, Spider-Man, do a backflip!" And he goes,
And he just-
That's like one of the best moments
I'm
I've
totally watching that when I go.
Yeah, dude. Even like being on the street and being able to interact with everyone, you give someone a high five, give them a handshake. It's cool.
Yeah.
So, at one point when I
think
early
that was the
played the
last
game,
achievement I
he
got.
was like, "Don't ask me to do the hand thing." And
Yeah.
then later, like when I
Someone's
was playing
like,
sex, they're like, "Hey, can you do the hand thing?"
So
I
good.
just thought that was funny.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
one of the features I love about the game is you can go like walk on the street and do that. Hey.
See
Oh,
the
no,
game?
so-
See the game last night? Like,
There was one thing that I want to. I know we can get into it, I guess, more in.
Before we jump into the ending, I want to talk about Easter eggs, but I want to know if there's anything anyone wants to go
I actually-
in on before we get to that.
I want to talk a little bit more deeply about the traversal and stuff a little bit, just only because this is gonna sound weird, but I find that the swinging and everything is too easy and too guided sometimes.
I felt like I was zipping through the smallest little cracks in buildings.
That works fine. But what I'm saying is, say you're going down and you go to swing, and you're so low, you won't hit the street. You'll just glide. Like the web will shrink, and you'll
It's a little
go.
like jump, like
I don't know how to
chunky
describe it,
a
but
couple
like it.
times. I know what you're saying.
I wish the let's put it this way: if it wasn't a game like this and it actually did like you hit a wall and you actually hit it, I probably wouldn't like it as much.
No, you would.
But like at the same time, I think it's a little too guided at some points.
I
for
think
me.
the worst part about the traversal is getting to a pinpoint spot is a little tough.
yes.
What do you mean? Like
You,
When you
the
try-
when
building-
you're
okay,
swinging
okay.
without web zipping, obviously, I guess is what you're saying.
you see a window you want to hit on, get to because there's a guy above it. Let's say it's really hard to get to that fucking window, like very pinpoint.
Oh, when you're on the wall, like you either have to like
that
run,
that
run,
or
stop
you're
running.
mid
Or
swing
you
and
just
you're
have to
like, and you're
walk.
like,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
yeah.
I'm trying to get up. Oh man. I miss
or
it.
if you are crawling on a wall, sometimes if you turn downwards to start
And you're still
crawling
going down,
the
like the-
camera is like, what are you
Yeah.
trying
I will
to
say
say?
where it gets
What
a little
direction
wonky.
are you going in?
I thought it would be worse, I will admit, for like a game like this. But for like as much as you're twisting and turning, I do think the camera does usually stay pretty good.
yeah.
But no, I don't know. I found it pretty easy, especially with like the web zip and everything. Like
it made it easier, but sometimes it was just a little.
and
too
you know you
missing-
can like you
Yeah,
can just
I
zip
gotcha.
to
I
any
was
surface,
missing.
right?
I was missing
Yeah,
pinpoint
thanks to-
locations to get to because either I wanted to get something like a backpack or I wanted to like take down an enemy.
How'd you guys like the stealth elements?
Like Arkham.
Yeah, and I think that they worked it into like Spider-Man stuff really well. There's one thing that annoyed me. It made me really excited, then annoyed me. Was I was on a ceiling. I was like, man, I wish you could hang upside down. And then I aimed in, and then you hang. And I was like, this is awesome.
I
You
don't
can't
hang a lot.
No, they don't give you
The
many
option.
opportunities. But
Yeah.
then you can't stealth take down anyone from like the
From
ceiling or
really?
anything.
I've never
It was
tried
just
to.
weird.
I didn't know you
Batman
couldn't.
would just
Like
drop off
like
something
you
and-
like it feels like you should just be able to like zip down, pull them up, and then zip them to the
'cause that's what
ceiling.
you do in Grand Central.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what he's doing,
a lot.
but you
Doing that,
can't
he's just-
do that, which I found very odd. But I guess they didn't really worry about that because you're using it so less. There's usually perch points in every stealth situation.
Scenario, yeah.
It would have been nice to see a little bit more animations with hitting square and stuff and stealth. Like eventually, you start seeing the same ones over and over.
Oh, you
again,
just
and,
when you're
like,
zipping them up, yeah.
Or like
Even-
my favorite one is when you like bring them up and then you throw them into the
Yeah.
thing and like
Yeah.
bang them
No,
there. Because
totally,
that
yeah.
one like you're like, oh, this
Oh,
guy would
shit.
be knocked the
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
out or something. Where the other ones you're like, wouldn't this guy be trying to make as much
well, but
noise
you
as
see
he could
you
or
do
something?
see them like going like they're like they're
But,
like shimmying around and
yeah.
everything, which is funny. And go ahead.
Obviously, it's a game.
Yeah.
And think of
sure?
the assault. I was like,
Yeah.
there were a couple times, not a couple. There were many times where I'm like on a light that's like 4 feet above where the
You would
guy
definitely
is, and I'm like,
You would be serious.
You would know.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you would look
no,
up.
you're
but at the same time, if it was more realistic, I would be pissed because you have to be like a mile up.
Yeah,
in the air,
exactly. And it's
But I just like so many times where I was like laughing to myself. I was like, this dude is so dumb. He deserves to get whirled up like this.
And there's some like Spider-Man is funny to me because he's situationally strong. Like he can lift a car, but it takes a few punches to knock a dude out.
Silver Sable or
Like
Silver
just
Sable,
just
whatever. She
thugs
kicks
though.
them down once.
Yeah, like you're punching them 3 times, then they're out. I get it. You can't just make it a one knockout, whatever. But even like some of the fighting actual like animations were pretty samey. Like I was playing today, and he always does the same 3 kicks. It's like 1 kick, 2 kick, 3 kick, kick away. 1 kick, 2 kick, 3 kick.
And then I would do kick, and then circle and go under the guy,
Yeah.
and he always does like the whoa, like which sure, but like
Yeah.
like
Where did he go?
Yeah. It happens every single time, you know, like.
And I do love mixing all the webs in with it. There's nothing more satisfying than webbing people to a surface. I feel like when
I
you
like
use
how
the impact.
when they're webbed up and you kick them into it and they stick.
Yeah, dude,
really
it's
nice.
it's really good.
Nice
The web
touch.
bomb, all of it. I think this fighting is great. I think it's a great first starting off point.
Comparing-
I can't imagine I can imagine that like it's going to be even more. What is the word I'm looking for? Diverse or
They have,
dynamic
yeah.
even in the next one
Great-
because like
great
you
buzz,
play
man.
you play like Arkham Asylum and you see the fighting in that and then you play Arkham Knight and just the way it's evolved and just the different
But
enemy
also I
Arkham
think like
types,
really like
archetypes and,
like this game is kind of a spiritual successor to Arkham, and we haven't really mentioned that because the games are very similar in their theme and the fact that they're
I think they're-
I had to remind myself they're different universes, like
Yeah.
DC Marvel universes. 'cause
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
some-
like, just the way they play and stuff, but I think Spider-Man is the better of the two, because I think Arkham is pretty challenging. Like, with combos and shit.
Oh, I like.
oh, but that's what I love about it. That's
But,
why
like,
I
it
lo-
took me a
I
long
hate
time
even-
to master
That's
Arkham,
what
because it was when I was
love.
going for my achievements.
So then
and
once,
stuff.
see, like, I feel like once I mastered Spider-Man stuff, I was like, this is cool, I feel great. But nothing's more satisfying than in Arkham when I'm taking on 30 dudes and I am just purposely hitting every single button to dodge, to counter, to jump over
That is
someone.
very involved.
It's
Yeah,
a little
it
bit
is-
more
it's-
involved.
It's a little more in depth. I mean,
And I can see why that might
it's
be a
got pros
bad
and
thing for
cons.
people.
It got
Yeah,
pros
yeah.
and cons.
And that's why I don't even love comparing these games because they're
They're
both
different.
superhero games, but this is a fucking great Spider-Man game. That's a fucking great Batman game, and they both do what they need to do well.
One
And-
thing I
also-
want to mention that we haven't talked about is not the suit abilities, but the suit like gadget things.
Yeah,
I think they were kind of like once you found the best ones, you just
stuck.
with them.
I never changed
Spider
them.
Bro,
I like
always.
never
Spider-Bro.
changed.
No,
them.
not those
the
ones.
powers,
The three
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
But yeah, Spider Bro is one of the best ones.
Yeah,
'Cause-
I used the first 3 whatever I equipped, and I never changed them.
Yeah, they were
yeah,
like
they were
I
a
went
little
through
like
and,
okay, I
messed around a
understand
little
why
bit.
they're here for some customizations, but like there's some of them that are just way better than the others.
Yeah.
All right, so before we hit the ending, I want to talk about Easter eggs.
Yeah,
We totally didn't talk about Stanley.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
they
fuck.
were.
yeah,
That was cool.
We
That
totally
was
didn't
great.
talk about Stanley.
Very cool. That they
I didn't
never get
expect
away.
that at all.
No, I
was
didn't.
like, wow.
I don't. I
that's
feel like I
awesome.
should have, but I didn't at all. And it was
Nah.
just a really cool. It was a classic Stan Lee. Just like, all right, see you kids, and then that was it. Just a
No,
quick little
Yeah, I
thing.
love it. He's like, you two are always my favorite.
Yeah, that's that's
I'm
what he
not
says.
You
going.
It's-
motherfuckers.
And I do want to. We touched on it a little bit earlier, but just the facial animations in this game are. I don't
Top
think
notch.
it would have been nearly as powerful of a game if they weren't as good as they are. Like honestly,
Did they mocap like
I
everything?
mean
Yes.
they must have, but even just like the people mocap it today. But even still, like you look at like I think these faces look better than like The Last of Us and like even some of the more crazier
What
narrative
about compared to
games.
Detroit? What would you say? It's hard for me to remember.
I thought Detroit was.
Was
I
phenomenal.
mean,
It's on
the point of
my
Detroit
list.
is that
played
it's
it.
very
I
scenic.
downloaded
Yeah.
the demo. I never put
Like,
the demo.
that's
and
like-
I never
yeah,
bought
that's
the
like-
game yet.
Oh, I
A
thought you
huge
bought
part
it.
of
I was
Detroit.
going
Yeah.
to.
You were talking it up.
But even so, I just love
I
how
will
much
get it.
time they
It's a
put
good
into
game. I pick it up.
it. Really.
I-
Also, Black Panther, the Wakanda embassy.
Yeah.
I have when he says, I wonder if Black Panther was bitten by a panther to get his powers.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he says that? That's
Yeah.
great.
And then we have Lockjaw confirming Inhumans are in this universe as well.
Oh, yeah.
The statue for one of the hidden
That's
photos.
right.
Lockjaw's the big dog.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's literally like
It's
in
like a
the
big
middle of
bronze
the
See, I
dog
haven't
in the
gotten
middle
all
of
the
the
hidden photos.
And
yet.
I was
I've
just
gotten
like,
some, but
I was
not
like,
all.
holy shit! I was
It's
like,
where it's like on
Lockjaw?
Wall Street instead of the bowl.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Wall
that's
Street.
right.
So,
Yeah.
yes, I saw. I think it might.
Oh,
have
is
been
that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
it was someone from Insomniac said we couldn't put the bull there because of like lawyers.
Well,
So
yeah.
they decided to do it.
Really?
So that's why they.
Yeah, they
took it.
probably couldn't
Copyrighted?
license
Yeah,
it.
there's
Yeah.
certain things in the
So
city they
that's-
couldn't
so that's
do.
what,
Yeah.
yeah. So no, what's
The
interesting?
Twin Towers Memorial
Well,
isn't
they
there.
have
Yeah,
a stand-in for it. Like they have a big Freedom Tower. Well, it's not the Freedom Tower, but that big silver tower.
You know what that is? That's the original Freedom Tower design that they used.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That
really?
that's really
Yeah.
cool, actually.
And apparently, which is a cool Easter egg. I don't know what building it is. I don't know if it's a Freedom Tower, but if you're climbing up it and you look in its reflection, the twin.
Those
is that
aren't
not
the
real?
Twin Towers. So you're seeing that I saw something on that. Kotaku put an article
Yeah, I
about
think
it.
it was Kotaku.
It's the reflection, because the reflections aren't perfect. It's the reflections
No,
of
they
the
don't.
building
You
that
don't get
you're
your,
on.
your character doesn't get reflected,
And
which
neither-
is fine because there's so many.
It's
buildings.
so tough, and even if you
Yeah.
look, if
It'll
you
be a
look
lot
into,
of assets.
Yeah, if you look into a building, like it is 3D, you can see, but like if you go around a corner, like
It's
the
the same
way the
building.
door is set up, it looks
It's
like
cool
a door is
optical
going off.
illusion
No,
to make it look
works.
good
Yeah.
in
And
passing.
there's no way you could fill out all those buildings to see through, and I get it. I totally do.
And then the other one I
It
had
works.
was
It looks great.
Damage Control, which is a team in the comics, but also Damage Control
Clean
is the
things.
group who cleans
Yeah.
shit up.
They're in Homecoming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
They're the
he gets-
group that
he's
kicks
in,
out
you
Agent
know that
Tomb's
warehouse
Zero.
he gets caught in? That's a Damage Control warehouse. When he's like
Right.
talking to Karen the whole time.
Yeah.
I have a few others here that I wrote down. When you take a picture of Sanctum Sanctorum, he says that place always had a strange type of vibe to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of
What a
Yeah,
motherfucker.
little one. But
I got one.
Cheeky.
I forgot.
when Electro's bio talks about, which could even be a hint to a future game, is that what he said, if Electro ever got to his full capabilities, I don't even think me and the Avengers could even ever stop him.
Yeah, because he just wants to turn to pure
He
energy.
wants to become like a bolt, or
yeah,
like a
literally a bolt of lightning. Yeah.
And Doc Ock.
Vulture's
He's like, oh, that's I can get it.
Vulture's bio, Spider-Man says like, I wish I could have been bitten by a wasp to have flying abilities, but I think that alias is already taken.
Oh, that's
so he,
good, yeah.
he references the
I-
wasp.
Really?
That's
I
awesome.
forgot. I don't think I forgot that
That's
one.
really good.
Spider-Man. Oh, dude. So when we were talking about Batman, I don't know if this is a jab at the Batman Arkham series, but he says Spider-Man jokes that the red light on him should be a spider logo, and that like the light in the sky would be
yeah.
cool, but he doesn't want to get sued.
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah,
said. I do
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
He's like, nah, we can't do
we
that.
probably
We'll get
get
sued or something. Yeah, yeah.
We should make a
And-
spider.
Yeah.
And Dr. Connors is in Harry's room. There's reference of
Really?
the lizard in Harry's room when
Well,
you're when
the
you're
lizard
Mary
has
Jane.
already existed, right? Because someone's dressed up as him at
Yeah.
a party. That's what the guy's dressed up as. He's
Really?
dressed up as the lizard.
Yeah.
So
One
he's
is
already-
Mysterio, one is the Lizard.
One is Vulture.
One's original
Original
Electro,
Vulture and-
Yeah.
original
I love how
Electro.
it seems that this
Shocker.
universe,
Electro.
their original costumes are their original comic book stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's goofy.
Yeah.
Like I'm like that's cool because like I guess that suit
Like
we've
an
seen is
homage.
the original suit.
Did you
One of
notice
them.
Electro's face has like the scar in the shape of what his mask
Yeah.
is supposed to
Yes.
be? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
I
cool.
did, so I noticed this, and I didn't see if anyone else saw this online or anything, but when you're at the raft and you're fighting the inmates,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there are a couple of them that are like, they're blue. They look like the Electro from.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's-
they're
he's fine.
blue.
Yeah,
I
that's
would-
like the newer. They use that design in the
They look
comics.
like
too,
Jamie.
I'm
They
pretty
look
sure.
like Jamie, but like
Jamie Foxx's Electro.
that's like the random.
I wasn't
thought
sure
I
if
thought
it was
just
supposed to be
one
that or
inmate.
there's maybe like Kree.
I thought it was
No,
just
maybe
one
it's-
inmate.
No, there's
did
a
it,
I don't
there's
think
a couple.
Kree or
Jamie
Blue in the
Foxx.
comics.
Yeah.
I thought they were just like regular looking people.
some of them are.
But
One
the
of the
blue.
things I don't know if
Like
we
zipping
talked
through
about
the
this in the
prison.
group.
Yeah.
We were
But
just-
when you're swinging and you're having a dialogue, it's different from when you're just sitting.
Yeah,
there
it's an
talking.
exert. He has like an exertness. Yeah, and it changes on the
Oh my
fly.
God,
Yeah,
like,
it's
Yeah.
like, oh hey,
Like if
hey
he's
Mary
talking
Jane,
on the phone, yeah, and then when
yeah.
he stops
Yeah.
swinging, he's
Hey,
not
hey,
exert. He's
yeah.
not
Yeah.
exerting. Yeah, it's little details. They're
Dude,
really
how about
fucking
that
cool.
shit? I did not think that was going that May. I didn't think it was going.
Oh yeah, well we'll get it. That's what I was.
What-
That's what I said. I digress
So,
on earlier.
Let's get into the ending.
Yeah.
I guess go in order. I mean, like, how
I
about
think we just
Miles,
go to last-
Right?
What?
How nuts is that? Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I thought that was a great setup the whole time. I
Yeah.
really like. So
Yeah.
Jefferson, what's his dad's? That's his dad, right?
his
Jefferson
stepdad.
Davis. Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I was like, why doesn't he have the same last
His
name?
name-
I'm confused.
yeah.
Stepdad.
That makes much more sense.
So
I thought they set that up really well.
for those who don't know,
It's
the
different
ul-
in the comics
in
when
the-
it's different from
Oh,
the way he
yeah,
gets in
yeah.
the comics, right?
For those who don't know, with Miles Morales in the Ultimate Universe, Peter Parker's dead in the
By that
Ultimate
time,
Universe. And I don't even think Miles Morales knows who he is.
He didn't know he was Spider-Man. I don't think. Yeah.
But yeah.
He knew
So-
of Spider-Man.
So I don't know if that's
How's he
set.
die?
I can't
I
remember.
don't know.
Is
Is
it
like
something
in
to do
a
with Doc
Spider-Man
Ock?
act,
No.
or is it?
Doc Ock
Oh,
takes
oh,
over him for a
Doc-
while.
yeah, Doc
Is
Ock-
that it?
No, that's Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
when Doc like kills him and like becomes Spider-Man.
No, that's Superior.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So there's an arc where like Doc Ock like takes control of like Peter
He
Parker.
like
and
puts his brain
becomes him.
inside. Peter's or like he switches consciousness and he just becomes Spider-Man. He moves out to San Francisco or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Like clearly we're gonna get a sequel. Like we don't know it yet, but it's gonna happen.
A sequel and both are alive, so are we going to be able to play as both?
Yeah.
See, I think I'm
wow.
assuming they'll end
It'd be
the
giant.
last one or the next one, maybe even the one after that, with Peter dying, and then that's when he makes the switch.
Maybe. Who
Or,
knows?
I think-
Diner
he might
pass,
bounce.
Or even just passing the mantle or something. And
Or
even
maybe
Mary
something
Jane's
happens.
so heavily involved, I feel like they'll like end up together, and he'll be like,
Her-
I'll
yeah,
retire.
One
Yeah,
character we
I
don't
remember that.
get or even a reference to is Gwen Stacy.
yeah.
So I'm kind of
That's
like,
actually-
might be dead by now.
She could be there, but they don't reference her at
They
all.
don't reference her at
They
all.
definitely could.
maybe
like,
she just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You
Because
know?
Mary Jane always came
Or
after
she
Gwen
could-
Stacy.
what's up?
Mary Jane's after Gwen
She
Stacy.
did.
Yes.
So
So it
I
could,
didn't know that.
or they. I mean, they switched around a lot of stuff in this universe. She could just show up later, just as her.
I feel like if she was there and she died, he would have been way more. No, Mary Jane, get the fuck out of here right now.
That's
because
actually definitely true. That's
Gwen Stacy-
100%
'cause,
true.
Gwen died because of May.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It would have been like that kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah.
No repeat.
Yeah.
So we also don't know if, speaking of relationship-wise, if Spider-Man and Black Cat have had anything.
know.
We know that they've
I would assume
interacted, but we
She
don't know
clearly
if they've
flirts
actually...
with him and likes him.
Yeah.
She
But
gave him a suit.
Well, we got a
She
DLC
gave
coming
him a
out.
suit.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize
see
that
in a
suit
few weeks.
had
Yeah,
claws.
our first DLC is going to be a Black Cat DLC, which is a good
No, it's gonna be
idea,
cool.
and I'm excited to jump back in for that.
Yeah, did
I
you, I
don't
didn't notice
feel
those
like
suits
buying
had
it
claws
yet.
on them.
Yeah.
She had
Yeah.
claws.
Every DLC, I just don't feel like buying it yet.
I got
I
the-
should have.
Oh, I
bought the-
Can you buy the
additional
season
rate.
pass? I
Yeah.
meant to. How much
I
is
have
it?
$30, I think.
Worth it.
Think
Is
it's
it
worth
30?
it? I don't.
fucking should have
for
just
the
got the
three.
goddamn.
Or no, if you buy the 3 at once, it's less.
I assume it's 20 for the
20
like pass
something.
for all of them. I hope
Yeah.
it because I could have
10 for
upgraded
each,
to
I
that.
think.
Knowing myself, I'll play each the day it comes out and beat it.
Yeah.
Like I will not like, and then I'll be like,
Yeah.
shit. Well, all right. Now
I
gotta wait
hope
another
it's like
month,
not
and then,
like. I hope it's not like a. I hope.
I wonder if they're going to have
it's-
trophies.
a couple hours.
I don't
worth
know,
or
but yeah, I hope.
Yeah,
no,
you
at
said
least
that's
like,
what they were
I
saying.
know we
At
were
least
kind
a
of just
couple
talking about
hours.
the ending, but we all... Congratulations on your first platinum, guys.
Yeah.
Casey and Trio.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so happy you guys got a
Thank
platinum
you.
trophy. You know, welcome
It was
to the
definitely
club.
like it was
so doable.
it was so doable.
Yeah,
like
and
I
that's-
looked by the
That's
end.
what I really like when games platinums are very just sometimes easy, and it's just like,
it was,
hey,
it was
100%
literally
easy.
doing everything, and everything was
and
fun to do.
You haven't done
So-
everything yet.
I
so.
will get it. I already saw what I have to do. I
It's
will
not
get
killer.
that. And
Yeah.
totally off topic, but I also get. I'll have 2 platinums this year. I'm gonna. I know I will get
Oh, he's
MLB
gonna-
The Show's platinum for
Oh,
the
yeah.
first
Really?
time, and I've been having that series since.
I love it.
You know, it's been on PlayStation 3 since trophies existed. I've
platinum.
never completed it, and I always play on.
So are you going for them though?
There's
Or no?
some that I was like, I know where if I just take an hour, I can knock out like 3 of
Just
them,
do it,
and then
dude.
I'll have a platinum.
Become the hero you always
I
meant to
might.
be.
No, I forget who
Become
said
the
this,
show.
but they mentioned that the 3 big PlayStation 4 exclusives, God of War, Spider-Man, and Horizon, all have like pretty obtainable platinums.
Horizons, yeah. God of Wars, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
for the most
Horizon,
part.
I could actually
I
probably
mean,
go back and
the only
platinum
reason
if I
God of
really
War
wanted
is
to.
God of
hard
War
is
is-
because of the difficulty for
close.
me, and I think that game is just
Do you have to beat it on the
difficult.
highest as
No.
platinum?
Nope.
Oh,
That was just
probably do
crazy.
that
One other. I'm sorry, I'm looking through
then.
this.
Fucking love that.
Neither does Spider-Man. Doesn't have a difficulty.
Right.
This is again one
Which
of
is
those
nice.
things that I'm gonna say I wish I have it until I probably actually get it, but I kind of feel like there should have been fall damage from like the
Nah,
city.
fuck off. Nope.
Yeah,
I
dude,
think that-
you can jump off the Empire State Building
and be
right
fine.
now.
Yeah,
I
it's
think-
alright.
But
I'm fine with that as well.
Yeah,
I'm fine, but like
I liked it, but I know you.
I feel like
I don't
that,
need your
that sense
realism
of
in my comic book
actually-
video game.
No, I just think that sense of
consequence.
actually consequence of falling when you're swinging would add a little bit to the game. I don't know.
Or just like the game automatically does like a animation where he
Or you can bounce out. Yeah,
he,
even like, or if you're
he-
good at it.
he,
Yeah.
Well,
whips
if-
something real quick.
yeah,
or
If
like,
you hit attack when you fall, he does the power
Yeah.
punch,
Well,
and
when
the
he-
ground actually cracks.
Yeah, when he
everywhere.
does the
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he like slings himself at the ground. Yeah.
So jumping back to the ending, how did you guys like it? Like, was it really just like satisfying to you?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had once they revealed Doc Ock like earlier, I was like, that's the guy I want to face. Like that fight's going to be a great fight.
Did you get?
I meant to actually ask this. I'm sorry. Really quick. How'd you guys feel about the boss fights overall in the game?
They're fine.
They're easy.
I
fine.
felt like they
So-
were very
nothing crazy.
okay. I would have liked to seen a little bit more.
My,
Even Doc Ock's kind of easy.
I thought his was the best.
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
but
it's so
I think it's just because
cinematic.
it's so cinematic and there's such an emotional punch
Yeah.
behind it. But I mean, I thought it was interesting how they had you fight 2-on-1, like when it was like Electro and Vulture versus you, and then like Rhino and Scorpion.
I think one of the slower parts of the game is that end, because everything's kind of revealed and you're kind of mopping everyone up, and it's just like, oh, okay, fighting these, okay. I mean, like not that it was like bad.
No, yeah,
it was just,
like after that raft mission where everything kind of goes to shit in the city.
Kind of the game kind of
like
slows down.
Yeah, you can tell it's getting into that wrap up stage.
Yeah.
My caveat about the boss fights was that I wish that this game had more of a free roam vibe in the fact that it wasn't a mission cutscene when you would start the fight with them. I wish some of these like Shocker and stuff was just the dude that was on the map.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh
and
shit,
and then
like,
you go to it, you don't even realize it.
things.
Yeah,
That would have been really cool.
It would have been cool to be like,
yeah.
oh, like not, you know, there's the car chases and stuff.
It's like
This
the
is a
red thing.
That's
Yeah.
kind of like
a bigger red
Taskmaster.
thing.
So once you do enough missions, Taskmaster will just like rope you
out of
and,
nowhere,
catch
which was
you.
cool. Yeah, which
and
was
it'll be
really
like
cool.
it's time to
cutscene
fight.
aspect where it takes you.
Yeah, and then it
away.
stops,
Like,
and then
I like Ian's idea though.
And you
About,
randomly,
it's
like,
very
it's
all
dynamic.
free roam.
You're
It's
just swinging
happening
through
at
the
once.
city and all of a
Yeah,
sudden
that
it's
would
like,
be
And that
cool.
is tough. I mean, look at God of War. They did that one camera shot through the whole time. I can't imagine how hard that is to do, though. Like, to set up every
Really
scene.
need
so
the
that it
right
works.
game.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. You need to write it in such a way that it works. And I think I would love to see that, too. I think it's just a little tougher to do than maybe we realize, I assume, in that. But I agree. I think that would make it a lot more
And-
cinematic.
I don't know, boss fights like nowadays. Well, I'm kind of gonna contradict myself because God of War had phenomenal boss fights.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
probably the
Absolutely
Stranger one was
difficult.
probably the just like
Right.
everything about
Oh,
it.
they
It was
were
probably
just
the
good.
best,
Multiple phases and stuff.
best boss fight
like
probably
the
I've ever
very
played.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you just
Yeah, yeah.
crush them through trees
like,
and shit. And it's,
insane.
it's
I
awesome.
love that. My
But-
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up.
It's so good.
But
right through your head, yeah.
like with a lot of other games, like maybe you can say like the Souls games or Bloodborne and stuff like that. Like boss fights like aren't like there's not a lot special to.
Nothing
It's
too
hard
crazy.
to
yeah.
it's hard to make a boss fight new.
Yeah, right.
And I
So,
actually,
like,
I did like
Dodge
what.
their power attack.
yeah.
And then,
so,
yeah.
it's
Creep
how
your
much
way
am I?
Stand,
Like,
don't stand in the fire. You
Like
know?
I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting a ton out of the boss fights, and they also didn't like
Blow you away.
blow me away,
Yeah.
which was like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Shocker one actually a lot.
My favorite
Yeah,
might
Shock
have
was
been either like I like chasing him through the city.
Yeah.
But I like the Electro Vulture fight. How you were like in the
In-
air the whole time. Like,
Oh,
I did
yeah.
too.
you had to be
Oh,
on
dude,
your
it was so
toes more,
cool.
whereas,
Yeah, I did
like,
too.
Yeah, you'd be
Rhino
hitting
was a
Electro
joke.
and
Like,
then
that was so easy. Scorpion. Was
Rhino
like-
and Scorpion,
they were, like,
yeah.
very, very.
Very,
easy.
you just web them up,
Web the shit
and then
out of 'em,
and
beat 'em
then
up.
Actually,
Give them Scorpion.
I couldn't figure. I didn't know how to like attack Scorpion at first. I was
Oh,
like,
you didn't realize you had to web him
I
up
was
and
like, what
then,
the fuck? I'm like, I can't grab his things fast enough.
Yeah.
But we keep getting away from the ending, but that's fine.
No,
We're having good conversations.
Making
Yeah,
over there.
so
Yeah.
I really this is one of the most like absolutely satisfying games endings that I've had. Well, even more so like than God of War. Like I did love that game, and it had a really strong, like poignant story, like a really kind of just what's the word I'm looking for? Focused story on Kratos and his son. But this is just like I do love the universe so much, and just they set up everything, and the payoff was so well delivered, especially with May. Like that scene,
I cried.
I cried hard. I ugly cried. I was like, "This
Really?
this is tough."
I like
the
I
way
put
she
my
goes-
hands on my head and I was just crying.
Dude, when she goes like,
But I like-
he's like, "You're gonna be okay, man." Like, and he's like tearing up, and then she goes, "Take off your fucking mask. I know it's you." And like, I was like, "Oh my god, he's fucked!"
She knew too.
And then he's like, "What do I do?" She's like, "You know what to do." And the way he's literally just like,
I like how he
again
like
with
goes
his facial
to do,
animation.
I like how he
He
like
grabs
goes
it
to
and then
do
he's
it.
like-
and then he just
Like the
breaks,
conflict.
and it's
the
so
character
good.
defining moment.
And
I just thought she was gonna pull through that.
I thought she
Like,
might have.
honestly,
I was like, he's
I-
gonna not do it, and then it'll work out.
I kind of not saw it coming, but I'm like, she's gonna die. I had a feeling for some reason.
It just
But
it was
she got
well
the
deserved.
Devil's breath.
Is what I felt like was the biggest thing. I don't know.
So we haven't really talked about
least for
Norman much, but we really kind of like towards the end kind of found out his motivations. I don't think he's as bad as really how he was. What
how
I
he was
to be.
portrayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really not trying.
He's a
Like,
dick. He's a dick.
businessman.
Yeah, he's a jerk off
Yeah.
businessman, but he cares about his family. Which
Yeah,
is
like the
insane.
whole point of GR27 and Devil's Breath is just, we find out at the end to save Harry because he has the disease his mother had, and he has the fucking symbiote.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
It reaches
Yeah, I
out.
know
It's the
it
symbiote.
works out, but like
it has. To.
He's
such a weird.
Is he gonna be Venom? Is Harry Osborn gonna be Venom?
That's a
Venom.
step.
That would be
See,
cool.
I didn't think
Well,
it was a
how many
symbiote. I just
how
thought
many
it was
symbiote-
his disease that was cut. Like that's
No,
what it was
it's
called.
the
Like,
symbiote.
I think
but
it's
why
I
would
think
he
he
use this-
found it and
He
he's
has
trying
the
to use
disease
it.
that his mother had.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
degenerative whatever it was, like some condition.
So what? He's
Yeah, I don't
he's
think it's
trying
like
to use the symbiote.
Maybe
to
his
counteract
research
it?
team found it. Hey, let's fucking try.
I think that would be an interesting way to go. I wouldn't
Is
personally
the
be the
symbiote,
biggest.
like, alien? Does it come
It's
from?
the-
Yeah, it's usually
Yeah.
it comes back on a space
Comet,
mission
right?
from with
Jameson's
Jameson's son.
son.
Yeah, like in the comics. But I don't know. I think it was very interesting. I saw that tank when you first go into the room, and I was
green-
like,
that mission's
the
so
green-
frustrating because I tried to figure out how to open it.
Yeah.
I was like, "There's something
Yeah,
here."
obviously.
and the illusion when Norman walks in the green. And
Yeah,
like,
no,
obviously,
yeah.
we're gonna
See,
get to Green
that's why
Goblin at
it was
some point.
confusing. That I was like, okay, are they setting up Green Goblin? Or
I
is
think
this the
in a
symbiote?
way they are 100%. I mean, not obviously, but
That's
yeah.
Does the
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love that point of like it just confused me.
Does the
That's all.
symbiote kill people? Like,
See,
the-
well, in the
does it
comics, the
kill
idea
them?
is he's the first. The Venom symbiote is the first symbiote to actually coexist with its inhabitant
I was
rather
gonna
than
say,
just
like
kill
Peter
him.
It would be
Parker
crazy.
has it, but he doesn't coexist
I was
with it
gonna
for
say,
a
it would
while.
be crazy.
Well,
if,
no, he does. That's whole the symbiote. Like,
But he rejects it eventually.
Exactly, and-
Venom doesn't.
but the
from
idea
the
and
beginning.
what I love about the comics more with that storyline is that the symbiote wants Peter more because he's the more powerful being. Like,
Yeah.
so he can't beat Venom, but then he's like, all right, fine. I know what you want. Come back. I'll take you back. It's fine. To the symbiote. And the symbiote goes, and then Eddie's going like, fuck you, it likes me. And then it slowly drains off him and then goes to Peter. And then he has like this mental thing with it where he's like, and the symbiote's like, oh shit, this is all wrong. He doesn't want me. What the fuck? You were lying. And then he gets him. And that's what I love to see.
Yeah.
But
Well, because how many are there? Like 6 symbiote.
there's it starts out with just Venom.
Then
Carnage is the,
Carnage is his offspring. But then in the Lethal Protector storyline, which I just read,
which apparently they're
is
doing
what-
something in Venom.
which is
I
what
think
that's
they are,
very like after reading it, that's definitely what they're based. It's based in San Francisco,
Yeah, it's
uh,
Lethal Protector.
and it's with the Life Foundation and all that stuff. But they managed to extract 5 more symbiotes from the Venom symbiote,
so
and that's how he
symbiote.
created
Not
symbiote.
symbiote. Symbiote.
What am I- that's not what I was
Symbiote.
saying.
You're saying symbiote.
Symbiote. I mean, they're. Anyways,
tomato.
thank you.
No.
That would be. I'd be curious to see what they do there.
Because that's why, like, I don't think it's gonna be Venom, but I think he could have.
I think they'll build up to Venom.
Symbiote.
I mean,
I
Harry
think they
being
can be.
Venom, maybe not, but I think they're
No,
gonna-
yeah,
I think the
Harry's
symbiote.
gonna-
I just
will
think it
take-
would be an interesting choice to have it be on him for some reason. I just don't know why they would have it.
Well, why can't Eddie be introduced as like reporter
he-
finding out
okay.
about
No,
Oscorp?
no,
and-
that's
He's
totally
still
true.
a Daily Bugle. it's
100%.
like,
Yeah. No, I agree.
What I was
He
originally-
signs his card, by the way.
Yeah.
What I was
Oh,
originally
yeah.
gonna say
Yeah.
is it would be crazy if that
I
was
brought that
like
up.
the symbiote in Harry's tank or whatever, and it like killed him, and that drove Norman to do his
yeah.
whole. Is he's
Green Goblin thing. Yeah, in the comics, yeah.
In like the Spider-Man, the original one, not these ones.
Mhm. Amazing.
Is,
First Spider-Man.
is Harry? Does he become Hobgoblin?
Hobgoblin.
He becomes
Or
New
he's
Goblin.
just New Goblin?
No, so
Hobgoblin's
yeah,
a-
guys.
Like I know there's a difference between Green
Yeah.
and Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin's a totally separate
I forgot
person,
my
which
joke.
Is
I
weird.
wanted to say. So how about when fucking New Goblin Spider-Man 3
Yeah,
shows
yeah.
up? I forgot. I was gonna put it in somewhere. Shit.
I kept waiting for
I-
Harry. I was like the whole time.
Yeah.
like,
I kind of got the vibe when the research station was like, yeah, he's not in this game, but
Yeah.
he kind of is at the end,
Yeah.
which is cool.
I could see the way they set it up is something along the line of like Venom is out there, and the next one he's doing all the shit, and like Norman sees it, and he's like, he has the same shit that Harry has,
Might
and then
come
he
out.
goes Green Goblin to figure that out or do that
That's.
shit.
I'm just so
And
confused
then-
on what they're gonna.
Yeah, because we can have multiple
What are we
villains,
gonna
and
do?
I think Green. If Harry's involved in this in the symbiote, like him becoming Green Goblin to maybe, if Harry becomes Venom for some reason, him to stop him because he created him. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
It would be interesting, and I just don't know how they'd even tackle it. Cause like
But there's
Green
going to be a
Goblin, I don't know
sequel.
how-
This is like
100%.
this is 100% happening. Yeah.
we see it in the first Spider-Man.
You
How do you
don't
make
know.
that suit look? I mean, they can do it much more easily in a video game, obviously, but make that suit look cool because he's just a
What,
dude in a
Venom?
rubber. No, the Green Goblin. He's just wearing a rubber
Oh, they
mask.
can make it look cool. Trust
I hope.
me.
No, I'd love to.
Look at all the villains, man. They all look
No,
really
that's
cool.
true. I think they could. I think they could do it. I'm just very interested to see what it looks like, and I'm very curious to see if they do go with Norman being it versus Harry.
this is
That's
sick with
just.
the-
I wish that wasn't. I guess it can't be so clear because they don't want to give you such a clear answer. But I wish there was a little bit more of something.
No, I think it's Lee's.
Yeah.
Oh
At the
yeah.
end. We didn't really talk about Lee at all, but
No,
it's alright.
no, we talked. Yeah, we talked about Mr. Dang. That's
really
fine.
know
Just
it?
like a catalyst for the
There-
story. Like
Yeah.
he's-
Yeah, he was.
There are a few things that stood out to me. One,
Yeah, he just.
Careful because it's on the wire.
why did
That's
Lee?
why I was like, I didn't know if you wanted.
I
Why
mean, if
didn't
you
we-
want to lift it
So-
off and
Why did
so-
they what?
Lee's the reason. I mean, Osborn and Dr. Octavius are the reason why Lee's parents are dead. Correct?
Yes.
And
Lee
why
kills
he's
him, yeah.
why he's who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did he agree to work for?
I think
Doc Ock.
Otto basically manipulated him into being like, no, that was
Oh,
that
that's
was
a good
Osborn.
question.
This was all Osborn's
I'm
fault.
just
Look,
a scientist.
he
Yeah.
But then at
he
the
shit
end of
on
the game,
me.
he wants to destroy Doc Ock, right?
Who?
Like,
No,
I don't think so.
no, he's
Oh,
all
is
on
it-
his side.
oh,
I think the
okay.
idea was like
I'm
Doc
with
Ock
that,
came to
but-
him. He's like, "Look at me. He took away all my shit. He shit all over all of us. We got to get him back." And I think he saw it as more of like Osborn being the catalyst rather than actually Otto.
Okay.
If
And
that
then-
makes sense.
And the other thing, so why didn't Fisk escape Raft with everybody else?
Probably because he's just a dude.
No,
Yeah,
but like
I don't know.
All those regular
There's
dudes
weird-
like that out in the
Mysteriously
streets.
Like,
drop
he just,
off
like,
and they
Maybe he just wasn't let out. I mean, you got a good point, but I don't know.
No, that's a good point.
I don't think
maybe they had him the most locked down, but then again, why? There was one thing that Jonah says at some point on this thing that's great, and I did like totally agree with. He's like, we've been notified that the Rhino has been moved to an even more secure location on the raft following an attempted breakout. If there was a more secure location to begin with, why wasn't he there? It's so good. Oh my god!
I like how they were using Electro to power the raft.
yeah, that's
crazy.
actually really.
That's like
crazy.
sounds like torture. Like I mean, I don't know if it hurt him.
Yeah. I mean, fuck him. He's killed so many people. I'd be like, just hook him up to the battery.
I mean, Lee killed so many people to the point where it almost feels like he got brushed off. I was like,
Yeah.
this guy's a super terrorist.
Dude,
like,
that-
there's
He
a
was,
lot of-
like
yeah.
the definition.
the
of
army would be involved. Where's the
yeah,
government
no,
at this
I
point?
agree.
And like with the explosion at City Hall,
just
like he
Yuri
was the
wants to rob you.
definition
Yeah.
of like a domestic terrorist.
No, totally.
Like textbook.
And even like, there's like a good example of this for me is like, all right, I know what headspace we're going to this game is when you're in Fisk's office just as a starter, and he's like, "Don't fuck with me, Spider-Man," and then he turns on his gigantic machine guns
Yeah.
in the corners. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is fine. We're in a comic book world.
Yep.
The things aren't going to happen the way they should at all.
You
Like
just
Sable.
dodge and-
Sable coming in to like take over the city, that would never happen in
Yeah.
real
Oh,
life.
yeah.
No.
Ever.
Oh yeah, they're just
I mean,
bullying.
paramilitary groups do exist,
But like they wouldn't come in on U.S. soil and basically
Oh,
take
yeah.
over the
For
entire
new-
city.
yeah.
Yeah, international.
Yeah.
and then
security for-
one of the
Like basically implement martial law.
So how do we feel about like that final moment with Doc Ock and like the revelation between like Peter and Spider-Man, Spider-Man and Otto Octavius and Doc Ock? Like that moment
Like
is like
him being like, now you know your secret's safe with me. We can work together. And Peter's
No,
like,
even that was good. But even before
like
that,
him
like you're
walking
talking.
away and he's like no, he's like freaking out. I'm like Jesus Christ.
I
That's
mentioned it
like-
earlier, I think, before we started. But like when he goes, you shouldn't stay out of my way, Peter. And he reveals finally that he didn't know it was him. And like, he goes, you knew? And then 5 seconds, and then 5 seconds, he's like, you knew? And just the thunderness in
I like
his
how
voice
dude,
just
when he
great.
stabs him with one of the tentacles and like even
He's like, sometimes
when
great
his
men
face-
have to make sacrifices
and
in
when his
order to
mask is,
accomplish.
like,
And he's
coming
like,
on.
that's true. And then he,
And he says you should aim for the head.
exactly.
He does say that?
No.
Oh. I was like,
Badass.
what?
Avengers
yeah, no.
reference.
I thought Peter was gonna die there.
Dude, I thought there was a
I'd
chance.
like to
No,
get
it
that.
was.
you just
With
Thor
him.
being Thor.
yeah,
That's
why
fine.
did you just
Oh,
do that?
dude, the way his mask looked too, and it was such a perfect like. His
I like the
eye was
oxy.
broken
I
out.
mean, it took
That
him
was
like
awesome.
7 seconds to build it, but
Yeah,
like it
that's
was
fine.
pretty cool.
Oh,
You
I love
assume
the
that took
Antioch suit.
hours.
That was one of my favorite suits.
No,
Yeah,
it was cool.
I literally, you know what? I didn't even look at the name, and I was like Antioch, and that was the name of the suit. Like I when I first said that in the group chat yesterday, I literally didn't.
Oh, you didn't know
name.
that was
No.
that's what. Yeah, no, and it just aesthetically looks awesome. It's great.
I came prepared.
Oh,
Oh,
Spidey sense.
show it.
It's just-
Dude, I need more like good socks.
Yeah, I do
like,
too.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's
I
great.
want to get off topic a little
Vans
bit.
has a ton
Sock
of Marvel
podcast next
Who?
week.
Join us here live.
Vans is a bunch
Did
of
you,
Marvel
where'd you get
stuff.
them? Like online?
Vans, yeah. They sent me like a $20 gift card, so I got a bunch of socks for like
Damn.
work and this.
Dope.
Yeah,
For
but
this podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
that whole interaction with him when he's laying there and he's like, "You were my fucking hero," and look at this. Now,
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
so it was
I
so
worship you or
powerful.
whatever.
And he's
Yeah,
like,
he's like,
you
I
did
wor-
this. You were the one.
Yeah, it's
It's such a good moment for Peter and
He kills
Spider-Man.
May.
and it's
Man.
Literally,
dude,
yeah.
literally, and it's
yeah, like
Well,
literally.
not that I guess he doesn't know before then. But
Nah, but he
he
does.
kills May. Like,
and there was one other interesting thing that I wanted to point out when after Doc Ock does his whole thing and like he reveals what he's doing after the raft, and you go back to the labs, you actually find a recording from.
Oh, I
Ock.
didn't go back.
You didn't, and he's like,
Oh, yeah,
and he's
I did go
like,
back.
Peter, you probably know by now. I hope you don't. Like, it doesn't seem in any way, shape, or form like how he acts That's why I do.
Malicious, it's
Like it's very like
sorry.
and he's like but I gotta do this, and that's why I do really feel like they set it up the way of, if he didn't get those arms, I don't think he would have gone to nearly the extent of that he did go.
Yes, I
but
agree with that.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He physically couldn't have, and I don't think. And he mentions obviously it's messing with the chemicals in his brain and everything
Yeah.
like that. But
So
He was a great villain.
Another one of the last moments is that MJ and Peter back together. Cool.
it's great. No, I like that scene a
They
lot.
had to get that lip action.
Yeah,
No,
they
that was
had,
good.
Yeah, they had to
Love
like
throat,
semi
tongue
bang.
throat.
Let me give you my spider webs.
And then the last moment is finding out Miles Morales is a
Spider-Man.
On the roof.
So and
On
you
ceiling.
brought up a
The
good
puberty
point. Like,
time.
are they both going to be Spider-Man? Because like Miles never goes by a different alias.
No, I think they'll just both be Spider. I mean,
Spider-Man
there's
2 places at once.
there's a comic line. It's either called the Spectacular Spider-Men or something. It's like both of them together.
And they're both
And
Spider-Man.
they're both Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
After the podcast comment. Sorry.
But yeah, no, that should be. I did love the whole scene. Just he's like, Pete, I don't know what's going on, and he just flips onto the ceiling, and then he goes, not that weird, and then he does it too. And
I thought it was interesting how quickly he just told him, because like
Why wouldn't Miles be a little bit pissed? Why was he like, why didn't Spider-Man save my dad?
Well,
Dear Spider-Man, what the fuck, bro?
remember, he sees him at the rally. He couldn't have. He literally gets blown back by the
Yeah,
explosion.
dude, he gets pretty
I
fucked
thought,
up at that
was
round.
I the
thought
only
he was
one
fucked
who
up.
sort of thought for a second there
that
that
was a
they
switch.
killed him?
Yeah.
I
I
thought
was
that was
like,
a switch.
I was like, are they killing Peter? Like, this is fucking crazy. No, they didn't even give him his powers yet or anything. It was good.
So
It was great. It was a great moment to end on.
to wrap it up, anyone's game of the year besides me? Because I think
So
I think
far,
it's Pete's
Let's
God
see.
of War.
Let's see. We gotta wait.
Yeah, we do have Red Dead and
Listen,
a few other titles coming.
God of War is without a doubt the better game and more unique game.
I don't think I
the
agree.
game
I'm
you
gonna
appreciate
say-
more, or the game
But
of the
I
year?
think Spider-Man.
I mean, game
for
of the
me,
year is an opinion-based thing.
right, but
depends
it's
the way we're
popular.
talking about
It's
it. But like when you go
popular.
at it more of from a technical standpoint and just everything, I do think God of War is probably the bigger game of the year contender. But for me personally,
No.
just the story and everything of this game really hit home for me so much harder, and it's just it's my game.
I don't know. I think I think Spider-Man beats it for me. Or
Like I couldn't
beats
decide.
God of War.
Sony killed it. That's all I know.
Exactly.
I couldn't decide. Like,
Only thing
it's
that
gonna
has
be a
a chance
tough
to keep
matchup.
throwing
At the end of
throwing
the
it is Red Dead Redemption this month.
And then
in a month.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm still God of War. I mean, just like,
Yeah.
and I think, I mean, just like trying to like remember just moments in that game, like the first time, like
Yeah.
even just the way the game was, the whole entire one shot, the first Stranger fight.
Plus, you're a
And
huge
the
God of
ending-
War fan.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
ending with like Loki, I was blown away by it.
No, it was great. And
But like, I think Spider-Man has more playback ability.
let's put it this way: I didn't ugly cry at the end of game of God of War. And
I teared up a
You
little
think- you
bit.
think Spider-Man's more replayable?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do too. But
And
like,
probably the DLCs.
I would probably
help.
want to play God of War again before I played
Through and
Spider-Man.
through, like
from the
start to
beginning,
finish.
like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I would
I
love
agree.
to do. I would love to do a new game.
Like I would
plus
rather
on
go
easier
back into the
difficulty.
world of
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
just to fuck around for a little bit. But if I were to sit down and play
the
one of the
game
games
through again?
I'm
maybe God of
virtually
War.
out. I'm out of things to do in Spider-Man. If there wasn't,
I've still been
DLC
jumping back
coming
on.
out,
To,
DLC is
like,
what I'm
just
jumping
swing
back
around
on.
and stuff.
I almost thought about like returning it because I beat it so quick. I was like, I might just bring it back, trade it towards something, and then
And
like,
get
when
it.
the DLC comes out, if I really want it, I'll just get like a.
Yeah, it's funny. I beat it.
special edition or whatever.
I beat it last Saturday, and every day I've been still popping in and just swinging around and just beating up criminals and shit. But no, I did want to play this again immediately, whereas with God of War, I was more like, that was great. I can sit on that for a bit. Like I was sitting there at the end, like I wish New Game Plus was out right now. I want to start it
God
right
of War.
now. For
Yes.
not even for Spider-Man. I mean,
Are they putting one out?
yeah, they are. It's coming a little bit later though.
'Cause I'll probably do that.
I wonder if they're gonna add trophies to that, or same with the DLC. Like, I hope they do.
I do hope like God of War made a really amazing New Game
I
Plus.
Platinum did. I don't want to do any more work.
Well, so
That
for
Platinum still-
Nah, yeah.
so for trophies with PlayStation, they make like a new like game in Spider-Man,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like it doesn't like count towards a platinum, but I still get them all anyway.
Yeah. But what else, guys?
This was
Is
so
that?
good, dude.
Does anyone want to? Yeah, before we close out, I mean, is there
Is there
anything
anything
anyone
else
wants to
we
talk
missed?
about?
This is like pent up. I've been wanting to talk about
This
this
is-
game for a while.
For the
and,
last
like,
week.
Most of us have been like at least far enough in it that it wouldn't have mattered. But like, this was good to like sit down. I'll edit it out.
And
And
just
dude, I can't wait to just like flesh
talk
some of this
about it.
stuff out.
Yeah.
Like,
It was great.
This was a really good
It was-
review.
it
I'm
was
really-
good, and
I'm glad we got you all on.
Yeah,
and, like,
One
for
thing
real.
is,
oh, yeah.
it's gonna be sick. They're adding new suits with each DLC too, which is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
What was the suit that Brian teased to Greg that he wanted?
Oh, the Future I want the Future Foundation really bad, and I want the Fantastic Four one, the Baghead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was that one.
Yeah, the
yeah.
Fantastic with the
Fantastic
Fantastic
Four.
and the bag and just the bag over his
Yeah,
head.
so they're
What's
It's
the
from a
name of that?
comic.
What's that,
I
Batman
can't remember
or,
what it's. I think it might just be
so
Bagman.
Spider-Man
or-
joins the
Batman.
Fantastic Four, and
Well,
it is-
no, it's at this. He gets in like a fight with not with them, but like beside them. Like they're fighting the same people. His suit gets all destroyed. They still don't know who he is, and he wants to protect his identity. So they're like, "Here, take this extra Fantastic Four suit, and we got a bag for you." And it's literally a paper bag over his head. It's funny. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I want to see the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 suit.
I'd love to see that too.
Because that is
Yeah.
my favorite Spider-Man suit.
No,
I don't know if-
I'd like to
it's
see
just
Wait,
that.
I
to
thought
me
they're all the
growing
same.
up
Can't
into
think-
that.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
thought
a-
the
it's like a
Spider-Man 1
darker-
and 2 suit was basically the same. Were
No,
the
it's like
color
it's
differences?
the dark red and blue, correct?
I could have sworn
You
they
mean,
were both pretty
you mean
similar.
this one?
No.
This
I
is the
thought-
one I want to see.
No, the Sam Raimi one's the
That
darker.
one's cool.
That's my favorite suit from the
The
movies.
comic.
I really do.
It's like
the-
it's like original
the
comic almost.
Homecoming suit.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what I meant to
I
mention.
don't think they're any
I think
different.
that's the like most
Go from one to
photogenic
three.
suit.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not different.
Did you guys
They're
use the
not.
Stark suit
I
often?
like the front. Like it's
Anyway,
such
that
it's a
trilogy
different
suit.
design.
Yeah.
Like that small.
That's my favorite.
And the way
spider.
that the webs are almost they're indented rather than
Oh, okay.
dented
We gotta
out.
sign out.
Yeah, we can finish up.
Yeah, we're
He's
we're
got to
done,
the
yeah.
bathroom.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us. Seriously, this has been awesome. And thank you guys for watching. If you've been watching live, we really appreciate it on twitch.tv/DelcoNerdNetwork. That's amazing. You can find us on Facebook.com/DelcoNerdNetwork as well as YouTube.com/DelcoNerdNetwork. Twitter, Instagram, @the Delco Nerds. You can find this in audio formats on Google Play as well as Apple Podcasts. For Ian, for Gooch, for Matt, for Casey, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We'll see you next time.